was a California August in '82 when my mother gave birth to the Spam Tech crew. 13 years later had me looking at Linux. Programming made me stronger like Papa the Spinach. Now, people know that a DG carry weapons, but if that weapon is a nest you step in, we finish Contra with only one life. Finish Metal Gear 2 using only a knife, right? People might think that we're frontin', then they see all the noobs online that I'm putting. My rhymes flow just like my code, even though my source is owned by SCO. What about my Indian? I keep it low. See me on Gunbound, call me pro. I'm a certified legend, but I'm still your bro. This is a PSA, boy, the more you know. I'm a legend everywhere that I go. Every distro, every Craigslist hoe pumping they fist, yo. Can't get enough of Whitey Cracker's jams, and they can't get enough of Whitey Cracker's spam. I'm a legend everywhere that I go. Every distro, every Craigslist hoe pumping they fist, yo. Can't get enough of Whitey Cracker's jams, and they can't get enough of Whitey Cracker's spam. I said my heart's wide open, goatsy, and my windows min like Ho Chi. I'm just another nerd, but I rap about it. Shit talk on the net, then I laugh about it. I've been caught slipping like the Star Wars kid when I'm on eBay sniping a bid. Catch me on a webcam like Numa Numa. See me at the club and I'm rocking Puma. Another net legend if you see me yodel. Spit a little something that's anecdotal. Tell me about the time the E-Bombs world stole your chop like I stole your girl. Catch me on Gen May, not something awful. Low tax would ban me, raffle. I'm a certified legend, but I'm still your bro. This is a PSA, boy, the more you know. I'm a legend everywhere that I go. Every distro, every Craigslist hoe pumping they fist, yo. Can't get enough of Whitey Cracker's jams, and they can't get enough of Whitey Cracker's spam. I'm a legend everywhere that I go. Every distro, every Craigslist hoe pumping they fist, yo. Can't get enough of Whitey Cracker's jams, and they can't get enough of Whitey Cracker's spams. I'm a legend everywhere that I go. Every distro, every Craigslist hoe pumping they fist, yo. Can't get enough of Whitey Cracker's jams, and they can't get enough of Whitey Cracker's spam. I'm a legend everywhere that I go. Every distro, every Craigslist hoe pumping they fist, yo. Can't get enough of Whitey Cracker's jams, and they can't get enough of Whitey Cracker's spams. Yeah.
What's up, meatbags? It's the often imitated, never duplicated Tony TGD. And tonight, we're having a special conversation. We're going to be talking with Vito Gesuali, who is caught in traffic right now. He will be joining us shortly. I did speak to him. He popped in and said, hey, I'm in traffic still. I'll be there. Don't worry. You're my guy. I'm going to make it. So we're just waiting for Vito to get through traffic. And while we do so, I might as well talk about some of the other things that's been going on lately. A lot of craziness in the community. Rexer tagged me in a tweet the other day. Apparently, UAG, your average gamer, tried to use a giveaway to get sexual favors from another man's wife. What in the hell is going on with Arcade 1-Up community? I'm definitely going to take a look into this, see what's going on with this. I've been a little busy, as you may or may not know. I've been out of town. I've been doing the Too Many Games things. We were there for all 3 days. Got there a day early. Stayed an extra day anyway. So I just got back. It was a nice little 5-day vacation. And I took today off of work, even though I was supposed to show up today. I was like, no, too tired. The plane ride was delayed twice. Then when we left, it got grounded for about 2 hours. So then we had to deal with that. So I was over it. I didn't get home until, I think, about 3 o'clock in the morning, in the a.m. So yeah, there was no way I was getting up in like 2 hours to go to work. Fuck all that. That was not about to happen. So I stayed home. I've been playing some of this AEW Fight Forever. I can say that. That's about as much as I can say. I've been playing the game, been enjoying the game. And my review should go up later in the week. I'm going to have like a first impressions up about 9 o'clock tomorrow when the embargo lifts. And then you'll have a full review later in the week. Because I haven't had a chance to really dive deep into it. Just been playing it for one day. Unfortunately, they gave it to me while I was on vacation. So that was, couldn't use it, couldn't do nothing with it. Code was sitting there on my PlayStation begging me to come home, but I was at too many games. Having too much fun. We're not going to do a lot of the normal things that we do tonight. We're not going to be talking about movies. We're not going to be talking about video games. We're going to strictly... Vito is late and gay, Jay. He is. We're just going to talk to Vito, have a quick conversation about the comic book industry, where he fits into it, you know, his plans for the future. I did see a tweet where he said he wants to help other creators make comic books, make their dreams come true. I seen another tweet saying Vito is part of Comicsgate now. That's interesting. We're going to talk to him about that. Of course, we're going to talk to him about the Super Killer campaign that's still going for another couple of days. He's already managed to raise $57,890, which is really good. I think he can hit. That 60,000 by the end of the week.
Hey.
And speaking of blatant gay, what's up, Vito?
Yeah, I am. Sorry. I never go to Costco, and then I happened to be at Costco, and I was like, oh, man, I can buy stuff in bulk. And then I ended up buying a bunch of stuff I don't need.
Oh, that's how it always goes. So how you been doing? How you doing, buddy?
Better. I think I'm better now. You know? You go into this thing, and you go, I'm going to fail. Everyone's going to hate me. They're going to hate my comic. And then you do it, and people buy it, and you go, oh, man, I thought I was a loser. And now I'm only like kind of a loser. So.
Well, it all depends on what happens when you deliver the book, right? I mean.
Oh, we're not making the book. What are you talking? This is a
scam.
We're running an Amico scam here, my friend. I've learned from the best. I learned from Tommy Tallarico himself. Get the pre-orders and disappear.
Oh yeah, that's how it works. Put someone else in charge.
I think the weird thing is I have more faith in the final product than I do in this stage, where people are like, well, now you got to make a good comic. I'm like, no, you don't understand. I know the comic's going to be good. Like, it's weird. I'm just like, I'm very confident in the comic. You know, what I'm not confident in is like, you know, I got to convince all these people on the internet that I'm not a piece of shit so that they want to buy it. And somehow I've done that. Somehow I've tricked people into thinking I'm a likable human individual.
Yeah, from the campaign, it looks like at least 1,028 people have bought into this grift.
I know. And then they're going to find out, again, I'm a Tommy Tallarico type psychopath. And no, we're not going to rip anybody off. Tommy's a bad guy. I keep rewatching Who Made the Big Amico documentary, because that was pretty good.
The Slopes one?
Yeah, the Slopes one was really good. But the thing about Tommy is, I'm like, how did nobody, like, you can tell he's lying. You know, he's just constantly lying. Like, oh yeah, we're gonna get the Kool-Aid Man game. We've been talking about that. We're gonna get Last Starfighter. It's like, no, you're not. What if there was gonna be 4-player Contra? Yeah,
well, he had Rich believing that shit.
Yeah, Rich is not a smart man, I gotta say, because anyone who fell for that shit, I don't know how everyone fell for that shit. I like anything, like, I always remember, even when Tommy Tallarico was like supposedly a big thing, I'm like, oh yeah, that's that greaseball who pretends he's like a rock star. He's funny. You know, I would never trust him with my money.
Well, you had a lot of people that had that nostalgia for television. You had a lot of idiots who wanted, you know, to get ahead in their career. They're like, oh, we're going to latch on to Tommy Tallarico. He's a big deal. So then when the Amico launches, that'll be a big deal. And I'll be on the ground floor, right? I'll be the guy who's brought you all that news.
I'm going to be friends with Tommy. And then when the Amico... I don't know why. I'm sorry to bring up the Amico. You're the only guy I can talk about the Amico with, because everybody else is like, what is it? And I'm like, it's this video game console. It's the worst thing that ever happened. And all these people were like, dude, you looked at like any trailer and it's like, look at these cell phone games. Aren't you excited to buy a box to play cell phone games? I'm like, dude, this is worse than the fucking Ouya. I have an Ouya.
Oh, he was making fun of the Ouya big time too. He's like, oh, we're not going to be like the Ouya. We're not going to put these mobile games on our system, and then turns around and puts fucking mobile games on the system.
Yeah, and the Ouya was actually kind of cool. You could sideload Super Nintendo ROMs on there. What the hell is that noise in your background?
Apparently, they're shooting off fireworks for some reason across the street from me.
Okay.
As soon as you came on, it's just like fireworks just started.
It sounded like a bunch of birds are being shot and killed. It sounds like screaming birds.
I guess they're celebrating 4th of July early here.
Yeah, a little way early, man. They got like a week to go.
Yeah, I was at too many games this weekend.
Yeah, I would have. I think I'll go next year.
Well, you were supposed to go, Vito. I was disappointed. You said you were going to go. I brought my copy of Isom #1. I was like, I'm going to get Vito to sign this.
Oh, I don't know who told you I was going to be there, because I definitely.
You said like months ago, you were like, hey, I'm going to go. I'm going to be there.
Yeah, I really wanted to go, but I don't know, man. I've just been way too busy. But what's exciting about having the comic book is that I want to get a booth. I wonder if they'd be weird. I mean, I would sell video games and stuff too. I'll get a booth at Too Many Games, and then I could sell comics and I could sell games.
Hell yeah!
I don't know how I'm gonna get that stuff there though. Where's Too Many Games in like
Pennsylvania?
Is it in Philadelphia? Yeah.
Yeah.
Can't really bring a bunch of games then. I mean, I could ship a pallet, but I don't know. At that point, the cost is. Well, maybe. Who knows? Maybe I'd ship a pallet to the show.
Who knows? Maybe you hook up with like Heritage Auctions, and you could be like part of their booth.
Should I get? Do you not like graded games? Get out of here, Mud.
Personally, I don't care. I'm not a collector of anything, so
Yeah.
graded, ungraded doesn't matter to me. I know a lot of people are upset because they think graded games are destroying the collectability of video games now.
Yeah, I don't think it's destroying the collectability. Again, it's only for sealed stuff. For me, there's like some games that I would want like a nice graded one. If I had like more money, I could see buying like a graded Metal Gear Solid 1 or something. What does a graded Metal Gear Solid go for right now? I have a lot of games, but I remember, like I have a big game collection. I have a lot of games that I kept sealed just because I was like, well, why open it at this point? Like I have some sealed Game Boy Advance games, some of which are pretty good. So I don't know. I keep saying like, maybe I should get them graded, but the cost to get stuff graded is like expensive.
And like I said, I don't collect things, so I'm not really big into grading. I know there are people who say that Heritage and Water are scams. They're scummy.
Yeah.
They grade stuff for their friends so they can turn around and sell it at auctions and stuff.
There's definitely one of those things where like, if you're in with those guys, you're probably going to get a better grade. They'll probably slip you a 10, if you're nice enough.
Yeah, I just don't see the point of any of that stuff, personally.
Well, I guess all I'm interested in is the protective case, because I have like some sealed games, and I'm like, well, I don't want them to get like scratched up or damaged, but I could just buy, a case after the fact.
Yeah. I was thinking of just buying a bunch of empty boxes to put on the shelf and just tell people I have games. Like, yeah, I got Stadium Games. Don't you see the box? Of course it's in there.
Yeah, why not? Well, I bought at one point, I bought a bunch of those plastic clamshell cases to, I was going to put all my cartridge games in there, but then I realized that was going to take up way too much space. Space
is a premium.
Yeah, I don't have any room anymore. I don't know where I'm going to put this comic stuff. That's going to be a huge problem. I'm going to have to get a storage unit or something to put all the comics in.
You got to get a warehouse. I hear that's what you need to be a successful comic creator nowadays, is a big, big warehouse.
Man, I've talked to some other comic professionals, and they're like, yeah, we don't know why Eric got a warehouse. It's not necessary. He doesn't need employees either. Mud, for the love of fuck, get off of my desk. You're killing me. This cat just is stomping all over everything and like knocking things over.
That's what cats do.
Yeah, he's nuts. What? Buddy, I just put out dry food for you. Go eat that. Do you need wet food too? He's mad that I didn't give him wet food.
think he's looking for the Q-tip. That's what it is.
No, he's just being a big fat ass because that's all he does. This is a big fat ass cat, and all he wants to do is eat all day. What was I gonna say? I was reading yesterday about like Dave Sim, or I was listening to a video about Dave Sim, who's this guy who made this like indie comic Cerebus. Okay.
All right.
At its height, Cerebus was selling, 35,000 copies, a month, I think. I don't even think Dave Sim had a warehouse. I mean, he probably had like a corner of his. He probably had a corner. I don't know. Did he? Dave Sim comic book warehouse? Maybe he did have a warehouse. The point is that here's why Dave Sim. If he had a warehouse, here's why you need one. You need a warehouse if you're shipping product, like vast amounts of product every month. Like if every month you're shipping 30,000 comics, then yeah, you could probably justify having a warehouse. Eric's only makes shipping comics. Well, now he says he's gonna have 3 comics, but they're gonna be spaced out. I think. I don't think they're done.
So he needs 3 warehouses.
Well, he's only gonna be using that warehouse 3 months out of the year, assuming they all come out in the same year. So 3 months out of the year, and then that's why you just go to a fulfillment company. You go, yeah, put my comics on your shelf and ship them out, and I'll pay you a little bit extra. The fact that he has like 10 or 12 employees, I don't think he's paying them anything. I mean, if he's paying them, $500 a month to dick around. But he's not making enough money where he can like pay 12 full-time salaries.
No. Plus insurance and all that other stuff. I don't think so.
Yeah.
What's weird is he's really proud of his warehouse. And I don't want to turn this into like, let's fucking bust Eric chops all night. But I mean, he's really proud of that warehouse. But he photoshopped himself in front of someone else's warehouse for some of his images.
Yeah, and he's been like posting, he uses like random stock images of other more impressive warehouses. I don't know if he did this on purpose. Like, the thing about his weird, like, I know you're conservative, but you're not like conservative in the way that you like idolize business and fetishize it to the point where you're like, oh my god, a guy's making money, how fucking impressive, the American dream. But he has a lot of these guys who like, their whole dream is to be like a factory owner, like those guys who play like fucking delivery truck simulator all day. Like that's his audience, is like guys who go, man, I wish I have this stupid office job, or I work at the fucking Burger King or whatever, but I wish every day I was just going into work at the warehouse and shipping products for my customer. It's like this weird little fantasy that they have.
That definitely is a weird fantasy, because I worked in a warehouse.
Yeah.
And my only dream was to not work in a warehouse. I don't understand. Not to own a warehouse, not to be associated in any way with a warehouse.
Look, I understand the fantasy of having your own business space and whatever else, but I'm not going to get like I'm not going to get a big hard on for somebody else's fucking warehouse, man. I'm not going to go, oh God, I hope Eric posted more videos of his warehouse so I can sit around and jerk off to this blue collar fantasy of packing boxes all day. That man has told us more about his warehouse than his comic characters. I don't even think he can describe his comic characters. I think if I asked him to describe the warehouse, he could give me like a 10-hour breakdown of everything in the warehouse and how it's set up. And I think if I asked him to explain like Isom's character motivations, he would fail at that task monumentally.
His motivation is not to be disrespected. That's it.
Yeah, which is honestly a really terrible motivation, especially for an African-American superhero. It's like, I was disrespected, now I'm going to commit violence upon people at random. And it's like, that's not good.
Yeah, that guy's just doing his job. I'm going to break his neck.
Yeah. I'm watching a video of guys packing boxes in the warehouse. Like, all right. It's fascinating. Could have just hired a company to do this.
Dick said he spoke to one of them. One of his warehouse workers? Or
Really? In what way though? Like on Twitter, like they were talking shit, or like the guy actually wanted to talk to Dick?
Fuck, I don't know. Jay will fill us in, I'm sure.
All I know is somebody's been emailing this week with Eric selling his book for charity, and we're like, hold on, what's happening? And it's like, oh, for $17, I'll donate a copy of my book to this charity for kids in hospitals. And it's like, well, hold on a second. It only costs you, based on the volume he's printing, my estimation is that it costs about $3 to print a copy of ISOM. You know, even if it is 100 pages, probably like $3, just based on estimates I've collected from other dealers. But let's round it up, $5 probably to print a copy of ISOM. So if they're paying $17 and then you donate a $5 book to charity, you just made $12.
Oh man, you're thinking small potatoes, Vito. You're not thinking correctly.
Oh, why is that?
Because the book is not $5, right? He's going to claim that he's donating a $35 book to the charity so that he can have a write-off, because he's charging you $17, so he's going to have a $17 write-off per book donated.
Do you think he gets to write that off?
Yeah, because he gets to set what the value is. Because like when I bought the Amico shell, right?
Yeah.
They had to put a price of how much it was worth. And so they said the price was like $567. Was like, that's what they determined it was actually worth.
Yeah.
So whatever I paid over that, I got to write off on my taxes as charitable donation.
It's just really weird. And here's the thing: is like another campaign did this, and I didn't think that hard about it. But like that other guy's campaign, it hit like 110,000, and I'm like, how did it hit 110,000? And I looked, it's because they did this like fucking charity thing, and I was like, oh well, that's kind of weird. And I'm like, so they're giving you $25, and then in return, you take the thing that it cost you $3 to print or $5 to print, you give it to charity. I'm like, but then you're just making more. Honestly, I was like, well, I'm not going to do that because that seems fucking insidious. Like,
oh, it is.
Well, somebody emailed the guy who runs the charity, and they're like, so, one, did Eric like confirm he was doing this with you? And two, like what's going on exactly? And the guy's like, yeah, Eric told us he was going to do this. And he's like, honestly, though, we have like, you know, tens of thousands of comics sitting in a warehouse. It would be, you know, we wish he was donating money. It's literally, I was like surprised the guy said that. I was like, wow, he's really kind of like being very blatant. He's like, well, I wish he was donating money, but we'll take the books. And I was like, man, I can't believe. I'm like, okay. Because let's be real, like kids don't care what fucking comic they get, really. Like, you know, and probably kids would be happier to get fucking Iron Man or the Hulk or whatever else. Well, you can buy on eBay right now. I could donate 50 books, or it's like I can buy 100 comic books for like $50 on eBay. You know, like back issues and like weird like junk. You know, but it's not junk to kids. Like they'd have fun with it. It's just stuff they overprinted. You know, they print 3 million copies and there's 1 million, you know, left sitting in a warehouse. Eventually, they just liquidate it. So really, you're doing nothing for. Honestly, like the idea that you're giving 1,000 copies of ISOM to charity, it's like it's meaningless. It's not gonna have any like special impact on a kid's. I mean, maybe a kid will discover ISOM and it'll change his fucking life, but at the end of the day, it's like no, the kids just want books to read. Just donate them like more. Just honestly, just give the charity money. It's what they're clearly saying they need. They're like, we need money to ship the books. We need money to, you know, put them in packages and get them to the hospitals and whatever else. But hey, here's 1,000 more books. So the actual value of what they're getting, again, 1,000 comic books to this charity is the equivalent of like maybe donating $100. The 1,000 books he's donating to them, you know, the equivalent, it's like donating $100, $200, maybe $500. I don't know. It's like, okay, thanks for the $500. We'll take these books and we'll add them to the giant stacks that we already have waiting to go out.
Well, here's the question for you, since you brought up this charity and everything. As far as I know, this wasn't announced at the beginning of the ISOM campaign.
Yeah.
And he has 1/3 the amount of books sold right now than he had of previous ISOM. Do you think that he actually went ahead and had these printed out previously, and now this is his way of getting rid of these extra copies that he has sitting around of ISOM number 2?
Well, I don't think he's printed ISOM number 2 yet. It would be stupid if he had, because he should print them all at once.
Eric's not a very smart man.
No, not terribly. Honestly, what happened, I know who came to him. It's this other guy who did it before. And these guys are just dummies. I don't even think they realize how bad a deal this is for the charity. I think in their mind, they're just like, wow, we're donating comics to charity. It's like, guys, at the end of the day, like, it's a waste of... Again, like, donating 1,000 comic books to charity is, like, useless. And if you were donating, like, 1 million comics, it would maybe be incredible. But 1,000, it's like they get that for, again, you get 1,000. You can go to a comic store. If you went to a comic store right now and you said, hey, I'm collecting comics for charity. Do you have any comics that haven't sold that you just want to get rid of? They will just give you a pile of free comics and be like, yeah, hey, take these 100. None of this shit's selling. We don't want it. We can't flip it on eBay, whatever else.
Yeah, but those are woke comics. They're giving them 1,000
exactly.
anti-woke. They're saving 1,000 kids from SJW infiltration.
And Eric July gets to pocket an extra $10,000, $20,000 by helping kids, by giving them his shitty comic. Look, oh man, this comic's gonna be so bad, man. This it's already bad. Apparently, it's gonna get worse. I have insiders. I can't tell you who, but they're like, hey man, it's bad. It's gonna get worse. And I'm like, wow, okay, I'm excited. I told him, I'm like, don't get my hopes up, because like part of me is like, what if the comic's really good? Then I have to go, oh shit, Eric figured out how to write. And they're like, you don't have anything to worry about. It's still bad. I'm like, well, okay, there we go.
Yeah, well, I was told, because I criticized campaign number 2. People were like, well, aren't you excited for the other 2 comics? Chuck Dixon's writing one, and some sisters are writing some other one.
Yeah.
And I said, no, I'm not excited. They go, well, why aren't you excited? Those are good comic writers. I said, yeah, but they're working within the constraints of Eric July's world, right? Eric July is not going to go, here, write whatever you want for your your Rippaverse spinoff, or what the hell they're going to frame it. It's like there's still going to be rules within that universe that Eric has set, right? Those characters can't be too great. They got to be within the boundaries of his universe.
Right. When you have a big look, as I tell everybody, the reason I'm so skeptical about this is when you live in like Hollywood or LA, there's always some rich guy who's like, I want to make a movie. I want to make a comic book. I want to make an album. And you're like, yeah, what's it about? And then they tell you like the worst, most fucking terrible idea. And you're like, and sometimes you go, well, I can write that for you if you want, if you pay me $10,000, knowing it's trash, it's bad, but this guy's got money burning a hole in his pocket. So there's a lot of these projects where you go, I'm just going to do it for the money. And let's be clear, I don't think Chuck Dixon uniquely fell in love with Eric July's Rippaverse. I don't think these, whatever they're called, the Soka sisters or whatever the fuck, I don't think they uniquely said, oh my God, Eric July, I love what you're doing. Your comic's so incredible. I have to be a part. Please let me write Yaira, a character who shows up in like 2 panels, says some stupid shit, and then flies away. What a thrilling character. I can't wait to learn more. No, this was Eric going, I can't write, so I better hire some people who know how. And it's hilarious because his audience is like, oh, you think the Rippaverse isn't serious? He got Chuck Dixon. That guy wrote Batman. Like, yeah, that guy wrote Batman 30 years ago before he fucking fell off and became a fucking political kook. His last job was making QAnon comic books about the QAnon hero called Alt Hero Q. Okay? His last graphic novel was called Clinton Cash. It was about the Clintons using money to, take over the world.
That sounds good. I'm going to need the link to that.
Sure. Look, but it's not like this guy was impossible to get. Oh, my God, you can't get Chuck Dixon, creator of Clinton Cash and Alt Hero Q. No, he's a washed-up has-been who literally anybody with $1 hanging out of their fly, he's probably happy to write a comic book for him. If Eric had gotten like some big-name, comic artist who's working for Marvel and DC now, you could go, wow, hey, that is actually impressive. How did he get that guy? He must have paid him a ton of money, or that guy must really have faith in him. Getting an old fucking man who wrote Batman 30 years ago and his prime is past him. Look, maybe you can write. Maybe you can still write. Who knows? But the point is, it's not like he was in high demand. Yeah. The world was not clamoring for more Dixon.
Jay says, I saw Chuck is making his own character after Alpha Core. That might have some passion in it. But again, here's the thing. It's still within the Rippaverse universe. It's still within Eric's purview, right? You honestly believe, does anyone honestly believe, he goes, here you go, Chuck, here's the keys to the car, drive it however you want. No, he's going to be sitting in the passenger seat watching him every time he turns, hey, slow down, that light's turning yellow, don't go there.
Or maybe you will let him run wild, but at that point, what is the point of this thing? Here's what
I'm gonna have to real quick. I don't think so, because do you think he's gonna let another character be more popular than Isom? He's gonna let Chuck Dixon write a character that's gonna be good, and people are gonna be like, hey, that's a good character. That should be the center of the universe.
I don't think Eric cares about comics at all. I don't even think he cares about ISOM. I have never heard Eric say like, I love ISOM. I'm so excited about this character. Like my characters. Like I love my characters. I'm like so deeply fucking protective of them, and I'm excited about them. And anytime somebody asks me about them, I'm so excited to tell them all these little like secret details about who they are and what they're doing. Eric for ISOM seems like he was just like, I don't know, he's a guy, he's got superpowers, and he doesn't like when people are mean to him. Like, I don't know if Eric's not a writer, clearly.
Eric told Mint Sally that all her fan art is canon.
yeah, that's true. All the fan art of ISOM getting in various sticky situations is very canon. I don't think Eric. Here's the thing: if Eric was a real writer, you would feel passion at some level of this. Or like even when a guy makes like a shitty comic, you know, and you see these guys and they go, this is my own manga. His name's Vampire Slayer 69, and he's got a blood-soaked sword that has the souls of his enemies trapped. And you're like, okay, that's the stupidest fucking idea, but I can tell this guy is genuinely fucking excited for Blood Hunter, you know, X or whatever his fucking stupid character is. I have never seen Eric. The only thing he's passionate about is his cock-sucking warehouse. He's just like, oh, my warehouse. Look at my warehouse. Look at all these boxes. Did you see how thick the boxes are that I put the comic in? I think he's like autistic. Like all he cares about is the quality of his packaging material and stacking pallets.
It did have nice packaging material. I will give him that.
Yeah, I mean, yeah. It's a very well packaged comic. And it's so funny that people were unboxing it. I'm like, you can't do an unboxing of a comic book. But they were, and they're like, oh, look at this cardboard. You can tell Eric really cares about the customer. And I'm like, these. And then you go, well, did you like the comic? And they're like, I didn't really read the comic. I was more focused on the cardboard packaging. So yeah, this is all a nightmare.
Yeah. But getting away from Eric's comic and getting back towards yours, you're almost at 60,000. What are you at? What did I say? $57,890.
Wow.
I told you you were going to hit over 50. You didn't believe me when I said it.
I thought it would peter. I think we hit 20,000 in the first day, and I went, that's it. It stops right there. I thought it would get to like 30. I'm like, I'm not one of these guys. I don't have a long tail. It's like everybody shows up the first day, buys the comic so that I don't kill myself, which I threatened to do multiple times. I'm not going to kill myself. But, and then they're like, all right, we gave him enough money. Now we don't have to pretend to care about this thing.
Our conscience is clean. He's not going nowhere.
Yeah, no. But it keeps trickling in, man. It's crowdfunding is weird. It's impossible to tell how well you're going to do.
Well, like I said, I was predicting 50,000 because I know you. I've seen you. You are passionate about the comic. I read. I got the sneak peek behind the scenes.
Did I send you the script?
Yeah.
Oh, nice. Yeah, I did.
And it is good, like I said. It is really good from what I read. The visuals that you showed me were good. So I had faith in it. I knew. And it's going to get word of mouth. People are going to talk about it. Plus, you got the big, you're part of the, biggest problem in the universe. You got lots of fans, lots of Vitophiles.
Biggest problem has been probably the greatest thing that has ever happened to me. It's so weird that, like, everybody's like, wow, you must love your YouTube channel and whatever else. YouTube's, like, finicky, man. The audience is not as, like... Maybe it's the content I was making, is that I started making these video essays where you don't really see me, you know? And I'm worried that, like, people, like, don't feel, like, connected to me because they weren't really seeing me. Because I post on, like, YouTube and I'm like, hey, I'm making a comic. And it's like, how many views did that video even get? It got, like, 5,000 views. Let me see. I made a video and it's like, I made my own comic book. It's 5,000 views. And the next video I make is Jada Smith's new Stupid Cleopatra show sucks, and that gets 30,000 views. And I'm like, look, I get it. I get that one video is like, you know, okay, I want to hear about celebrities failing. But you would want, like, I don't know. It might just be how I cultivated my audience. Luckily with a podcast, though, yeah, people get to know me. People get to see my passion. They're excited about what I'm talking about. So yeah, I think probably at least half the sales are just podcast listeners, if not more than half. I should do a poll to see how many people came from the podcast.
That would be interesting to find out. Like I said, I believed in it. I believed in you. You're a funny guy. I seen your old work. We went over some of your old videos and stuff.
Yeah.
You're very creative. So I had no doubt. The only thing holding you back was yourself, of course, and all the controversies you like to get into on the Twitter.
I think that's part of my charm.
For some people. For others, it makes it hard to tell people I'm friends with Vito. Like, this week maybe.
I don't know what to do with Twitter, man. I guess I should just... The problem with Twitter, though, is I'm just like... I guess my problem is that people expect you to be angry at stuff all the time. And I'm like, I just think you guys are angry about the wrong shit. You know, it's like if you were like, hey, man, doesn't it suck that, like, houses cost so much? You know, how that rent costs so much? I'd be like, yeah, that does fucking suck. What the fuck? This you know, like, billionaires are buying, like, extra boats and, like, you know, getting healthcare costs $1 million. I'm like, yeah, that's fucked. What the fuck? I am pissed about that. But then it'll be like, hey, look at these gay people having a parade. Like, doesn't that piss you off? I'm like, no, I don't give a shit about that. They're like, yeah, but like a kid might have saw that one and he's like naked or whatever. And I'm like, it's a fucking gay parade. I don't care. Like, why do you care so much? You know? That's where it gets, that's for me. Like, I get that if you don't like nudity and you don't like fetishist whatever stuff in the streets. But it's also like, I don't know, man. The gay people are doing it. They're doing it in like San Francisco. You're not going to go to San Francisco. That town's fucked anyway. So I just can't get like morally upset about it. I'm like, I just like don't care really.
I get a little upset. It's like, yeah, I don't want naked dudes dancing in front of children. But at the end of the day, right, the thing is, we're supposed to believe in like, oh, the parents' rights, right? Parents' rights is a big thing.
Right.
Conservative. So if their parents are like, hey, my kid's okay to see some dude dancing with his dick out, I'm like, who am I to tell him that he can't parent that way?
That's where it always is complicated for me. Is I'm like, nobody like grabbed that kid and I mean, you can say like, oh, the parents brought them there against their will, but like honestly, that kid
he goes everywhere against his will. He's a kid. That's what.
Yeah.
Kids do.
Well, that's the other thing. You're a slave to your. I just don't know what's gonna happen. So that kid goes to a parade and he sees something sexual and then he turns into a deviant. Here's why I don't care about any of that stuff. Is I've been on the internet. That's it. So when you're like, oh, that kid might see something gay, I'm like, that kid probably has already seen way more gay shit just by accident. Type in like Kim Possible into the search bar, and you can't even show it to a fucking kid if you go to the image search. Okay? Like, if you're at all worried about kids being exposed to like sexual shit, the only thing you should be talking about is, hey, my kid found deviant art and now he's fucked and he wants to inflate like a balloon and have 100-foot woman eat him. You know?
I don't know. I don't go to those kind of sites.
Until you clamp down on the internet, the kids are going to keep finding all sorts of sexual whatever. So I don't care what's in the library. I don't care what's on the street. Like, honestly, I don't even think it should be legal for kids to... They should have a kid's internet. And you don't get access to the adult internet until you're like...
Well, they do. It's called the Safe Search feature.
No, it doesn't work. It should be like a completely separate ecosystem where you can't even like
separate but equal
adults. Yeah, separate but equal. There should be like a separate YouTube server and everything else. Because these kids just find, man, crazy shit.
Well, I mean, it's no different from when we were kids. We used to go find old Playboys. You'd go to the store, you get some dude.
Bro, it is infinitely worse. I couldn't find old Playboys when I was a kid. It was hard to find a Playboy. I couldn't just go to a search bar and go titties, and they're right fucking there, you know?
We just go to the corner store and just buy one. But again, I was like 6'2", you know, full beard, Mexican.
Yeah, if you're Mexican, you get away with a lot. I remember trying to buy porn when I was underage, and they carded me, and I was like, I don't have one. And they're like, get out of here, kid. I was like, God damn it.
They wouldn't even card me to buy beer, alcohol, nothing.
Yeah, I had that chubby, like, childish face. I always looked like a 12-year-old. I go, hi, I'd like to purchase this pornography, please. And Kima says Pride events don't affect kids, but DeviantArt does. I think DeviantArt is doing infinitely more damage to kids than Pride parades. I'm gonna ask that question on Twitter right now. What's worse for kids, Pride parades, DeviantArt? I want to. What is doing more damage or what is turning more kids into deviants?
Sweet and Tender wants to know, what's your favorite part of the Amico? Bringing it back around.
What's my favorite part of the Amico? I don't think there's anything about the Amico that I'm interested in, except for Cloudy Mountain look cool. And they gave those, is it Choice Provisions, the guys who made Bit Trip Runner?
Yeah.
Yeah, they let them make that Pong game. So that was nice of them. I've met those guys before. They're nice guys.
My favorite part of the Amico is they gave a test unit to this guy, DJC Game Studios.
Yeah.
And recently he showed video of him playing the Evel Knievel game, right?
Yeah.
But it has, he's so stupid. These are how stupid these people are. It shows his total playtime for the game. Now he's had this thing for, I think it was like 7 or 8 months. And it shows total playtime 45 minutes.
Yeah.
He's had this console that he's wanted for ages.
And he only played it for an hour?
For an hour. Plus, he's supposed to be, quote unquote, testing it for the company to get information on whether or not the games are working properly. 45 minutes.
Well, yeah, because what do you play on it? You play Cornhole, which looks terrible and doesn't work. I don't get what's going on. So are they just going to like release the ones for pre-orders and then they're done?
No,
they just like
they're not doing any of that. The last update was.
Then why are they even sending ones out to these guys? Is it like a joke?
No, because they're loyal. They had like 8 or 9 test units done that they were bringing around to like different events and stuff. I think they're slowly but surely giving them out to the most loyal people while they're selling off all their assets. So when they declare bankruptcy, they have nothing left. Like, look, we don't have nothing. We don't have no units. We don't have no IPs. We got nothing left you can sell. The company's completely bankrupt.
That's so weird.
Well, they just sold off 2 of their games, Astro Smash and Shark. They sold the entire IP off to BBG Entertainment. Like, they don't even own the 2 biggest games on Intellivision is no longer owned by Intellivision.
Can they still put it on the Amico if they wanted to?
Yeah, that was the.
They probably have a grandfathered agreement that they can put it into their game system or whatever.
Well, they're not even working on a game system. They're working on a mobile app called Amico Home.
Yeah, I saw that, but then it doesn't make any sense to send out these test units unless it's just to get people off their back and be like, hey, maybe it's actually going to happen.
Possibly. Running out the clock on some loans and stuff.
But like some of these guys that gave it to, like DJC Game Studios, this guy does not even have 2,000 subscribers.
I mean, I don't even have 2,000 subscribers. So.
Right, and I don't send you stuff because of that. You got to pay for the comic. Like, that's... No, I would send you one. But I'm saying... That better
not be a second Mountain Dew, says Pop.
I'm saying there's, like, no point in sending it to this guy for, like, any promotional purpose or anything. I wouldn't even reward him for his... What, just because you like it a lot? Yeah, I was trying to watch him play Finnegan Fox. That's the other thing that doesn't make any sense, that these guys were like, my channel's going to get big off Amico shit. And I'm like, dude, you covered it for 2 years and you ended up with like 1,000 subscribers. Like,
well, because
you gotta move on at some point.
Yeah, but they believed in Tommy and they thought it was going to be so popular. Remember, 3 billion people was the target market for the Amico.
Once he gets it on Ellen DeGeneres, the sky's the limit.
Yeah, they said they're gonna have The Rock. He's gonna, promote it, and that's it. It's gonna blow up.
I am honestly surprised that they never tried to make it a Christian gaming console.
Well, that was part of the plan. According to Tommy, before COVID hit, they were gonna go out to these religious festivals. He's like, the biggest religious festival in like Pennsylvania. We're gonna go there and set up Amicos because they don't like violent games and stuff.
Should have just called it like the Jesus Box 9000 and like make Finnegan Fox Jesus and make the sharks are all underneath the ark. Honestly, I think that was the only way they could have made money is if they pivoted to tricking Christian people into buying a video game console.
What do you mean that's the only way they could have made? They made $17 million. I think they made plenty of money.
Well, you know what? Honestly, that's the other thing is I'm like, why did they get a fucking office? How much? They probably wasted
Five.
$1 million.
5 offices.
5 offices. So that's like $5 million. Probably. What's the rent on an office? Like, didn't they look up the rent of the office and it was like it was in like Van Nuys? No, it was somewhere in California, so it was expensive.
Well, they had one in San Francisco, one in Utah, one in Dubai.
Jesus Christ.
The German office in Nuremberg.
Yeah, and they didn't need any of that. They didn't need a single. They needed one office in like Ohio. You know.
Oh, they didn't even need that. They needed like Tommy's garage. That would have been good enough.
Again, this is why when we talk about Eric Chalai as a warehouse, it's like I've dealt with this before, man. So I used to work for a game company called Midnight City, which was an offshoot of Majesco. You know Majesco, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So we got this stupid office in Oakland. I mean, it probably wasn't that expensive, but it was expensive though. Because it was, and we were like, well, we don't really need this. We can all work from home. We didn't even like use that space at all. Honestly, like most of it was like empty. And we're just kind of like meeting there for the sake of it. I guess we thought like, oh, we were gonna like stream every day, but it never turned into anything. It was a big waste of money. And then also they spent all their money on like stupid parties and shit. And all the money just, I think at one point, Majesco was just like, you guys are spending all this money and not making any, and this sucks. And then it all came down to the worst thing that happened. And this is why I always hate Double Fine. I hate Double Fine anyway. No Double Fine games are good. You know, Double Fine, they make like adventure games.
Yeah.
They made well, I guess Psychonauts 2 is supposedly good. I don't think it made that much money though.
Well, it's crowdfunded, so it don't really matter.
So somehow our president ends up going to Double Fine and being like, hey, pitch us some games, right? And he comes back, he's like, I made a deal with Double Fine. And we're like, oh, cool. Well, you know, they made like Brutal Legend, they made some cool stuff. Like, what are we gonna make? And he's like, Costume Quest 2. And I'm like, what the fuck is Costume Quest? Costume Quest was like a Halloween RPG about kids going trick-or-treating and transforming into costumes and shit. Okay. So all our money got tied up in it was basically came down to if Costume Quest 2 fails, the company is bankrupt. All right, now let's be real. You're making a game called Costume Quest. It's about Halloween and trick-or-treat. When should that game come out? Probably like October 1st. So that you have the whole month to build everybody up for this fucking Halloween game. Honestly, it says here that it released on October 31st. I think the build we pushed out on October 31st did not work. I don't think that game actually came out and was working until like the next month. So we made a Halloween
you're one of the
game.
people responsible for that.
Yeah. We made a Halloween game that didn't come out on Halloween and it sucked and it made no money. It got a 7 out of 10 from GameSpot, a 6 out of 10 from Polygon, and then the company went out of business. Good work, guys. I'm so glad we worked on. Man, I'd made all sorts of videos and promos and shit for that stupid game, and that game sucks.
I actually was thinking of buying it. I saw it one day on sale on the PSN. I was like, oh, this looks interesting.
Well, you can go watch the trailers. I made all of them, so at least you'll know that. At least you'll know the trailers were good.
So, I seen you made a tweet saying you wanted to help other people live their dream, make their own comics. Eventually, you want to create this Vito empire.
I want. Look, it would be great. I think I would do a good job. Here's the problem, though. Everybody always says that, and then it doesn't work out, you know? But I want to get good at making comics and then maybe help other people make comics and make some money from it. The problem is the comic industry, like, I don't know why people don't buy comics. I wonder if it really is just like the people making them are bad at it.
Well,
that actually seems to be part of it. That there's just a lot of like really shitty indie kids making bad, unsellable comics.
well, you say that in the best-selling comic book is an American comic book. The best-selling graphic novel, beating out
Watchmen?
manga.
Or is it
No,
Dark Knight?
it is.
Dark Knight
let me see.
Returns?
No. Right now, this is the June graphic books and manga bestsellers list on New York Times. In the number one position is 20,000 Fleas Under the Sea by Dave Pilkey. It is a young child's comic book that people don't talk about because it is, it's for kids. Everyone, when you think of comic books, you're thinking Marvel, DC. You're not thinking these like Captain Underpants type things. These are also comics.
Okay, here we go. Graphic 20,000 Fleas Under the Sea. Okay, it's this Dog Man thing that everyone keeps talking about. Yeah, the kids love Dog. No, I have heard about Dog Man though. I just don't know. Is it by this Captain Underpants guy? It looks like that.
I think it's in the same style. I don't know if it's the same.
Yeah, I don't think it's the same. Well, no, it is from the creator of Captain Underpants. So there you go. That explains a lot of it. That Captain Underpants stuff, that was a comic too, right?
Yeah. But people don't think of them as comics because they're in book form. When we think of comics, we think of floppies.
Yeah. No, he's killing it. He's killing it. Good for him. I agree. No, we should talk more about Dog Man.
You Super J says those Dave Pilkey books sell like crazy. I have them all over my house. Yeah.
Dave Pilkey, yeah. Well, you know what? It's not a bad idea to make a kid-friendly thing. Get on that Scholastic book club or whatever the hell else.
Yeah, and I think a lot of times when people pull up the manga, manga's destroying comic books, they always pull up the list that has like the adult books. And they always, all these like Dave Pilkey type books, they don't get included because they're not adults.
Yeah.
So they're not on those lists. So I think there's this misunderstanding as to how bad the actual comic book industry is doing in America. Plus, manga is sold. Like, you usually get worldwide numbers. It's hard to get U.S. sales only for manga. So you can compare it to U.S. sales for comic books, right?
Well, here's also the problem, though, is we don't actually know where DC and Marvel place on the New York Times bestsellers because they just don't release their sales. So we have no idea if any Marvel or DC stuff is actually ranking right now. We can assume probably not, but Marvel, I don't think you're going to see any Marvel or DC stuff on there just because they're not releasing their sales at all.
Yeah.
Which has been annoying. It's like actually hard to tell what the fuck's going on in the comic market. The only way to judge comic sales is there's like some sites that like poll like 15 stores and they go, okay, well, based on that store we're going to say this many probably sold. But it's like it actually sucks that we don't know how much these things are selling.
Yeah, well, you had Diamond was doing it and then they stopped last year around April.
Yeah.
And then part of their problem though is they were basing it off of how many were ordered, not necessarily how many sold.
Yeah, well, for a while, it would be like the number one comic would be like some stupid thing. You're like, how the fuck is that number one? And then it would be like, because it was with a loot crate. So literally, they were sending out 80,000 loot crates, and they're like, yep, 80,000 copies of that comic sold. And you're like, well, not really, though. You kind of just gave them away like they were trash. I don't think that counts. Orphan Black number one. Because, again, 500,000 units sold. Can you believe it? No, it's because 500,000 people used to sign up for Loot Crate. And then everybody realized it was a stupid scam. And they stopped that nonsense. Hi, Scraps. What was I going to say? I think the bigger thing, though, is I look at, like, Kickstarter and Indiegogo and all that. Because that's, I'm looking at, like, the crowdfunding and stuff. And a lot of these comics, I don't even know how they make the fucking... Let's be real. I'm not. I mean, I don't want to talk exact numbers, but at the end of the day, my artist is making at least $10,000. I think probably more. I haven't calculated it all out. And then I look at these comics, and it's like they raise like $4,000, And I'm like, well, how did you pay anyone? I haven't even paid the colorist or the letterer yet, the printing and everything else. I'm like, how are you making a comic for $4,000? It doesn't make any sense.
Well, maybe they're doing all that.
Well, yeah, if they do all the art themselves, fine. But honestly, at that point, I don't know, man. I mean, I guess to make any amount of money at all is fun. But to me, if I made $4,000, I'd be like, well, this is a huge waste of my time. I'll just figure out another way to make money. Like, I got to make some money off this. I got to pay my bills. Can't waste my time making a thing that doesn't make any money. You know, it's a job. God, the amount of hours I've sunk into this thing, I got to make some return on that investment.
I hear you. That's why I don't make a comic, because I won't make any money on it.
Yeah, it's a terrible look. I'm looking at a comic, and their goal was $1,000. And they've raised $1,500. They're already 10 days out of the 30 days gone. So at the end of it, maybe they'll raise like $3,000. And this is chapter 5. That means they've done this 5 times and they only make $3,000 every time. How do you not? No. I don't get it.
It's passion. Passion. They have really good jobs, and this is just a side project.
I got to tell you, man. Like, I have passion, and I've done it. Look, I've done a lot of work and not got paid for it. I get it. But at the end of the day, if I'm going to do like a crowdfunding campaign, I'm gonna, man, I need some money. I got to make some money. This is crazy. But I don't. So but why? How do we get people excited about comics? What I hear from a lot of people, even with the campaign I'm doing, is they're like, "Oh, I just don't read comics," which is weird to me because I've been reading comics my whole life. Like off and on, I'll like find something. Lately I probably read a lot of stuff through like the Shonen Jump app, which is great. So I read One Punch Man, I read a Spy X Family. But even I just have comics on my shelf that I'll just like pull down and read. I've always had comics to read. But for a lot of people, like in American culture, comics, which is weird because I think it used to be, the problem with comics in America is it never really became acceptable for adults. It was always viewed as like kids and some teenagers read that, and then you grow up and you're not supposed to read comics anymore. But if you look at other countries, like in Japan, like you see old guys reading like porn comics on the train and shit, Yeah.
But I think that's the double-edged sword because comic books started off as kids' things. As people matured and they got older, they made the content more mature. But they stopped getting the kids into it. So now the younger generations aren't reading comics. You're trying to appeal to the older generation who are ashamed that they're reading comics. It's a loss on both ends.
You know what a big problem is too? Is like in America, there's like a balance you can strike where you can make something that's good for all ages. I think manga does a great job of like Naruto is fun and it's funny for kids, but then like also if you're an adult reading it, there's like some real character stuff in there and some real plot and it's interesting. Honestly, I look at American comic books and a lot of the like Batman and whatever stuff and I go, you know what? I wouldn't give this to a kid. This is confusing as hell. I can't even follow what's going on myself half the time. They're jumping around. There's portals and fucking everybody's got all these weird relationships that aren't established anywhere. And you got to read some other comic to figure it out. Manga does a great job of like perfectly straddling the line. And also we got to stop with this shared superhero. Look, the Marvel DC, like big universe full of heroes from across time. That's cute and it has its place. But like, we really got to get into the habit of being like, here's a comic. It's its own fucking universe. It's not connected to anything else. You don't have to read anything else. You just read that one, starting from page 1 all the way to the bank. What was a huge comic book? One of the biggest American comic books of all time? Walking Dead. Why? Because you know how to read it. You buy Walking Dead #1, and you keep reading it until you run out of issues.
Well, plus zombies were real hot at the time.
Yeah. Well, yeah, they were huge. That's why I look at what Eric July is doing, and I go, why would you look at Marvel and DC, which is probably one of the most flawed fucking ideas? Like, Marvel and DC only works because there is still a group of people who have deep nostalgia for those characters and are just going to keep buying it until they die. Yeah. But I'm going to estimate that over time, like, no one's going to be buying Marvel and DC comic books because you're right. No kid goes, I can't wait to, read Spider-Man 397 You know, like, no, they want to start at the beginning. And if they start at the beginning, Peter Parker's in the fucking 50s. Doesn't make any sense. That means he's a 70-year-old man. So I don't understand why Eric July looks at that horrible idea of a bunch of different books all interconnected, and you got to read one to understand the other one, and goes, I want to make one of those. Just make a good, solid story. And you know what? You can do that after you figure out how to write ISOM, which you don't know how to do. Once you know how to write one book, then you can have your little universe or whatever else.
So it sounds like you're saying that Super Killer is not going to have a spin-off.
Spin-off? No. No.
So if someone came to you and said, hey, you know what, Vito, I really love what you did in Super Killer #3. I want to write what happened before Super Killer showed up and killed that universe. I want to write that universe.
I'd shoot him in the head. I'd take him out back and I'd strangle them to death until they shit themselves. And then I would keep strangling them until they died. All the spin-off shit is always bad. They have spin-offs of The Walking Dead now. Are any of them good?
Yeah. Nah.
No, they're trash.
I can't wait for Beck #1. That's what I'm saying. We got to get her whole...
Extra Hero says, I don't get when people say Marvel and DC won't last. Do people not understand that these characters are timeless? Okay, Zorro was timeless. When's the last time you read a Zorro book?
Didn't they just have a Zorro kid show on Nickelodeon not too long ago?
How'd that go?
I think it failed because no one even knew it existed, but...
Sherlock Holmes is timeless. What's the last Sherlock Holmes book you read? Like, these characters, they'll stick around. They'll be there. But right now, nobody's making bank off Zorro. No one's making bank off Flash Gordon. You know, there's been all sorts of adventure characters from across time.
And here's the other thing that Extra Hero...
Who's making money off Pippi Longstocking? Nobody.
You say Marvel and DC, the characters are timeless, but I would disagree. It's not every single Marvel character, every single DC character are timeless, right? There's your Batmans, your Supermans, your Spider-Man, your Hulk. There's so many, like Madcap. Does anyone even remember who the fuck Madcap is from Marvel? Right?
No.
You know, is Speedball a timeless character that you're like, you know what, 50 years from now, I gotta read some Speedball comics?
People think these characters will go nowhere because they've been tricked by the Disney Corporation into thinking, you know, oh, just forever. You're going to have Mickey Mouse and whatever the fuck else. Like, yeah, you know, let's put it this way. Batman will stick around. Superman will stick around. But, like, we just saw with The Flash. The Flash used to be a way bigger character. You know, he used to be a huge character. Captain Marvel was huge back in the day.
Shazam.
Captain Marvel, Shazam. Shazam was a giant comic. It sold almost as good as Superman.
It sold better, I would think, because he had the first superhero TV show.
Yeah. And then Shazam, let's put it this way. They put out the movie. Shazam 2 is bombed. There's no Shazam There's no ongoing Shazam comic right now, as far as I know. He shows up in DC Comics, but he doesn't have his own book. Like, all this stuff, it goes in phases. How many Chilly Willy cartoons have you guys seen recently? You know? What's the last Felix the Cat feature that you went to go see? Some stuff will last, but a lot of this DC Marvel stuff, I would say Superman and Batman will probably endure. I don't even know if Superman will endure at this point. People seem tired of Superman. I think this James Gunn Superman movie, I think it's going to tank. I think everybody's just done with DC. But I'm willing to say Batman, Superman, Wonder Woman, Green Lantern, Flash, fine. You know, it's a great little group. From Marvel, everybody likes Spider-Man, X-Men, Iron Man, blah, blah, blah. But, like, honestly, I could see, like, Iron Man not standing the test of time. Iron Man is the kind of thing where, like, Iron Man wasn't even that popular until Robert Downey Jr. showed up and kind of made it a whole thing. Without him, I don't know where it goes.
I don't know. They were pushing Iron Man pretty heavily in the 90s. He was, like, in every cartoon.
Yeah. I'm looking at a list of all these dead characters now. It's fascinating.
So
Gasoline Alley was the biggest comic book of all time. When's the last? Nobody knows what Gasoline Alley fucking is now. You know what Gasoline Alley is?
I have no fucking clue.
Yeah. It was probably, I think it was the #1 comic of all time at the time. Gasoline Alley, the longest running comic strip in the United States. Apparently, it's even still going on. When's the last time you heard anybody talk about Gasoline Alley?
Never, but I don't really hear anybody talking about comic strips anymore.
Yeah.
It's where Popeye came from. Well, thanks, EVS.
50 years of Funky Winker Bean. Nothing. Nobody's talking about Funky. I'll tell you that right now.
Well,
Popeye came from Gasoline Alley.
Yeah. Since EVS is here, what's this I hear about you've joined Comicsgate, Vito?
I don't think you can join. I can't join. I don't know what it is. Nobody will tell me. I don't even think Comicsgate knows what Comicsgate is. All I can say is this. Look, I want everybody to make comics. I think that there's been this stupid thing in industries where leftists are like, let's just kick everybody out as different politics from us. And it's like the stupidest thing in the world. It's just making people insane. Okay, like let's be real. EVS can't write, can't work at DC Comics because everybody was mad that he's like, has conservative politics. People were writing in and talking shit. So we got to put a stop to that. I just don't know what you do. I don't know how to convince, because I consider myself a left-wing guy. And I always want to go to left-wing guys, and they're like, I don't know how you can talk to these guys on the right. They're all psychopaths and weirdos. And I'm like, yeah, they are, but we're psychopaths and weirdos too. Like, so I think there's a middle ground to be found,
Oh, there's definitely.
I talked to Ethan. I talked to Mike S. Miller. He's not comics big, but again, he's like a right-wing guy. And I go, these guys are fucking nuts. Mike S. Miller was like talking about, children having their blood harvested into like fear toxin or whatever the fuck, adrenochrome and all that shit. And I had to be like, bro, he's like, well, how do 8 million children go missing every year? And I'm like, 8 million children go missing every year, and 7.99 million children are found. They don't just disappear into the ether, okay? Like, your kid goes missing. Most of the time, it's that the non-custodial parent kidnapped them for, a weekend without telling you. Like, literally, Mike S. Miller, I was arguing with him, like, 8 million kids do not disappear for no reason, okay? So this guy's nuts, and he has crazy ideas, and he thinks the leftists, he thinks Hillary Clinton is kidnapping children to harvest their blood. Okay, but I can still talk to the guy, and he makes comics, and it's interesting to talk to him, so I don't know.
Yeah, I've never really cared about anybody's politics. I really don't even care about who's making the comic book, to be honest with you. I just want to know if it's a good comic or not. Right? This idea of like even EVS or like when they're like Chuck Dixon's, I'm like, I don't care who's the name attached. Is the book good? That's what I care about.
We need more, like, cancel culture is the worst thing that ever happened. Cancel culture makes people insane. It makes people, because when you threaten people's livelihood and their job and their income, they go crazy because they're like, well, if I can't afford to pay my kids' health bills and I can't afford to put food on the table, then I'm just going to completely double down and go 100%. If you thought I was a zealot and a bigot before, now I hate you guys infinitely more because you're trying to take away my life and kill me. If you want to de-radicalize people, taking away their job is telling them that you don't care if they die. It's telling them you want them to die. Okay? And when people want you to die, your natural instinct is to go, well, I hate the people who want me to die. Like, that's it. It doesn't make you go, oh, the people who want me to die have a really good point. I better change my politics, to make them happy. Some people will, like, they'll fake it and they'll say, okay, well, now I'm on your side and I believe everything you believe in. But for a lot of people, they go, no, fuck you, Jesus Christ. You just tried to get me killed. You just tried to take my job away. You tried to take my house away. I hate you. And then I've seen a lot of people who are like kind of moderate, with their politics become like really like zealots, like hardline, like, haters and stuff. And it's tragedy. But I go, well, the left created that guy by trying to take his fucking job away. They made him a million times.
They pushed him over there.
Yeah, absolutely.
What's up, Ethan?
Hello, fellas. How are you tonight?
Oh, there you are.
We're doing good.
I agree with everything Vito's saying.
I know you do, and that's why I think we get along. Is that I don't agree with you politically on like most stuff, but I also don't like that anyone took your job away because of it. It drives me nuts. And honestly, as a guy who's on the left and I want people to like hear my ideas and think they're reasonable, you know, you can always go, yeah, but your side cancels people. I go, well, that's a very good argument against me. I can't even argue that, you know?
Yeah, but I don't think that I think you're an old school liberal. I don't think you're a social justice warrior. People want to get rid of that term social justice warrior, and I don't want to, because it really differentiates itself, that group, that cult, from normal liberals. Because I think, 20 years ago, I would have fallen in line with a normal liberal. And certainly, like, I work among them. I'm able to work among liberals. Oh, yeah. You want to save the whales? Oh, you think climate change is real? You want to take my guns away, do you? You want to kill babies, huh? In the womb?
Yeah, I'm not for that.
But you're able to come to an you can still work with those people, you're saying.
Well, of course. Yeah. I mean, that's, we can agree to disagree, but I mean, SJWs, they don't coexist with people. So that's why they're SJWs. They're social justice warriors. Yeah. Warriors fight to kill. They want to kill their opponents in the name of ideas that I don't think are healthy or good or justified. I don't think social justice is in any way a valid belief system, and I don't think it's something that people should be afraid of or canceled over. Well, I think they should be afraid of it. I think it's I really do believe that this period of time politically, especially in pop culture, is going to be looked back on with disgust, and people who got involved in cancel culture are going to be rightfully demonized. I hope so,
I hope there's some repercussions for some of the behavior I'm seeing, but I've been waiting for it for a while. I was working in video games, like 6 years ago, 8 years ago or whatever. And yeah, it was the kind of thing where I think both me and you were working in very left leaning industries that got taken over by kind of these radicals. You in comics, me more in the video game space, where I was just like, what's happening? What are they mad about? What do we have to take out of the video game because we don't want to upset, this activist or this activist? And we've really compromised a lot of stuff for the sake of, frankly, just it's not even a large number of people. That's the thing. They have a very good skill of making themselves seem louder and more powerful than they really are.
They have effective tactics to cancel people. By the way, cancel... somebody in the chat is saying the right is eager to cancel people. I think we must differentiate, like the again, between liberal and SJW, and then also cancel and then remove ourselves from. Like DC Comics had every right to fire me and not give me work anymore. That's not the problem.
Yeah.
The problem is that a bunch of people worked really hard to make that happen. By sliming me, by making me unemployable, by writing articles that will forever kind of tarnish my reputation as a racist. And that's the problem. It's not that they just want to take your job away from you. I can find another job somewhere else. They want to obliterate your life and make it so that you have no other employment options. They want to make your friends afraid to associate with you. That's what cancel culture is.
Yeah.
And it all started with Justine Sacco. Do you remember her?
Yeah, I brought her up on another app recently.
Yeah, that's what cancel culture is. See, Justine Sacco this is 2012. She's just a woman on Twitter, and she's about to get on a plane, and she absentmindedly tweets an edgelord joke. And she says, I'm going to Africa. Hope I don't get AIDS. Just kidding. Funny. I'm white. Okay, so that's what she tweets out. And then she gets on a plane, and the plane takes off. And Daily Beast, Vice, what's the other one that Hulk Hogan took down? Gawker. Yeah. They all took that tweet and pretended to be utterly outraged by it and spread it around and wrote articles about it. Wow, this woman's in midair going from England to South Africa.
And she was a nobody. She had like a nobody job.
Nobody. Yeah. What the internet did was they decided to take pleasure in calling her a racist and then finding every single aspect of her life. I found her husband, I found her ex, I found her kids, I found her employer, I found her former employer, I found her religion. She belongs to this club, she belongs to this group. And basically the internet organized millions of people to destroy this woman's life for pleasure. And there was a hashtag that went around called hashtag has Justine landed yet, because they couldn't wait for her to land and realize that her life was over. They hoped she would kill herself. That was the beginning of cancel culture. That was when the internet realized the power that they had and what kind of language to use in order to do that to their political opponents. See, it's different. I mean, again, what's her name from Cara Dune over at Star Wars?
Yeah,
Gina
Carano. Thank you. Disney had every right to fire her. What they shouldn't have done is release a statement saying it was because her tweets, which I agree with, and so does half of the country, are abhorrent. Were abhorrent.
Yeah.
That is cancel culture. They made it so that anybody who hires her is hiring an abhorrent racist, according to Disney. That ruined her life. And then they
it would have been better if they could have just said, we due to a difference of,
not even that, just be
brand
like
strategy or whatever else.
Kill her character and let her go and don't hire her again. That's it. That's all. But no, that's not the way the world is right now. So those are SJWs. That's cancel culture, and that's the difference. Disney had every right to fire her for any reason. Absolutely. They didn't like her hair color. They could have fired her.
Right.
It's how they salt the earth underneath her as they do it, so that it basically makes it. And then everybody laughs that she has no other employment options than to go work for Ben Shapiro or whatever it is. Yeah, I hate this, and I want to fight it. I want to spend the rest of my life fighting it as best as I can. I'm just one dude, though, Vito. I could use your help.
Well, I think we're making progress, but honestly, one problem with the progress now is nobody is taking any of this seriously. Where sometimes I think there are guys who are, threatening violence or like crazy shit or whatever, and you go, well, hey, this is genuinely, or like spreading misinformation, spreading like genuinely, manufactured information. And you go, well, this guy just makes stuff up. You shouldn't be listening to him. Like, he's clearly trying to accomplish this agenda. And they go, oh, well, now you're just trying to cancel him. I go, no, this is actually, I don't want to cancel this person. So the problem is that for, canceling people over stupid stuff, now when you maybe want to sound the alarm over somebody who actually is a bad actor who's trying to inflict actual harm, it's become an impossibility. So we've really shot ourselves in the foot there. I would just like, I don't know. I think we're getting to the point now, though, where, people are just sick of the job mob, the mob coming after people's jobs. Like, we don't want to see it. Again, when you go after people's livelihood, it's basically the same. That's the closest thing to trying to kill a person, is to take their money away. You need money to survive. You need money to pay your medical bills and keep your kids healthy and whatever else. And for too long, people have treated it like a game where, it's okay to do this to people, and it's not.
100% agree. 100% agree. So getting to a more light topic, since Ethan is here, have you had the pleasure of reading Vito's book? Did he send you the preview?
I have not sent Ethan my script.
No.
Maybe I didn't want to bother him with it.
Well, I bothered you with mine.
Yeah, I know, and I was adding to my notes the other day. Yeah, but yours is like good. Mine is just like some stupid trash. You're gonna go. Oh God, what did I think this guy knew how to write? Jesus.
Well, I'd like to read it. Well, even if you don't send it to me, I'm going to back it. I'm going to get a copy of it because it's an important book in this space. Whether and I would encourage obviously other people. You're picking a fight with Eric July's community, which is fucking crazy in my opinion. But
I'm not fighting his community. I think I have a different look. I think we can all respect that everybody's making comic books. And then for the sake of, what do you call it? Me and Eric July have a feud that is going back to before even his comic. He made some videos calling me a fat piece of shit and whatever else. So whatever.
Why did he call you a fat piece of shit?
Because what do you call it? I went on Andy Signore's show. Basically because what do you call it? Ryan Kinnell made some stupid video talking about Batman and saying some stuff that sounded kind of racist. And then Eric July was backing him up. And we were like, these guys are dummies. These guys are idiots. And, what the hell are they doing? And then he made another video. He's like, look at these fat sacks of crap talking about me and my boy Ryan. So whatever. We have this long-running stupid feud. and now I get to go. I won't. You know what? I won't get into it. But you know, if I have some ammo against the man who called me a fat piece of shit, I might run with it.
I hear you.
People seem to enjoy the feud. They enjoy the spectacle. Look, it's all circus at the end of the day. And again, I don't want to impact Eric's ability to make money for his. I think he's got enough money to feed his family at this point. He's made millions of dollars. I think he's going to be fine. I'm not trying to cancel Eric July. I just think,
I will say, like Dick's criticism was it was very kind of Dick Masterson to write that. I know, like,
I was
that
ready
whole
to
group
end,
of people over there, and I mostly side with them because you know, a lot of them are my people.
I get it. Yeah, I get it.
But I don't think they quite understand, you know, that it's like outside of personal conflicts that you're having with someone, criticism, well thought through, handwritten out, I mean, all that stuff, smart criticism, is invaluable, and it also costs money. And for somebody to do it for free, and by the way, it doesn't matter if the person doing it loves you or hates you. It really has no bearing on whether or not the criticism is valid. And I know people don't want to hear criticism from people who they don't like, they know don't like them. I understand that. That's human. But we must be inhuman. And we must improve our art. Right. It doesn't matter. You've got to become, your boy Zach, and I say this all the time to people just so they understand. First of all, doing these comics on the internet right now is insane. The torture that you endure. Yeah. That we put each other through.
The eyeballs and the
well,
drama.
not just the drama, the competition. I mean, people just trying to tear each other down, crabs in a bucket. Of course, Comicsgate, Vito, there is a crab in the bucket situation, but the bucket is on a very tall stool, and the crabs are like, get back down in the bucket where it's safe.
I think you guys have very clearly won the Comicsgate conversation. Like, there's no even denying it at this point. You have multiple six-figure successes under the Comicsgate brand. No one can ever take
they're all happening. They're all gonna. Yeah, I mean, that's the thing. You know,
that's why I got into an argument with somebody, and they're like, "What can we do better in comics?" And I'm like, "Copy what Comicsgate is doing." And they're like, "What? Be racists and Nazis?" And I'm like, "No, like do regular live streams, get involved in the conversation on, you know, other pop culture, like constantly be promoting and getting everybody else." I had a bunch of like left-leaning guys like telling me like, "How could you ever say they're doing anything right?" I'm like, "They're making tons of money. Obviously they're doing something right, you fucking idiot."
It's freedom. This is what these lefties used to understand but don't understand anymore. The reason why you can find examples of people saying racist jokes within Comicsgate is because they're free to do so.
Right.
That's why. And everybody used to be so. Everybody used to be that way. And you would say a naughty joke and everybody would kind of chortle because it was the wrong thing to say. See, that's what jokes are. It's the wrong thing to say. That's why it's funny. We know the right thing to say. Your
Stan Lee line up the Asians against the wall joke is one of the funniest things I've ever heard in my life.
I haven't heard this one. Now I got to hear it.
I legitimately, when people were mad at you for that, I'm like, come on, that's really funny.
I mean, do they think that I am killing Asians? So, Tony, what happened?
No, but they have to pretend that.
Right. Zack Snyder basically appeared on a Geeks and Gamers stream, and he, in effect, accused their videos, of causing the kind of hate which led to the genocide of Asian people, or at least one particular mass murder of Asian people at a salon that had just happened. Remember that a couple of years ago? He said, we got
to stop Asian hate.
We got to stop Asian hate, and implied that they were responsible for it. And then he went on to say, my movies exist to bring about an end to Asian hatred and the kind of thing that happened there. So in essence, what he did was he said that he was here to stop us from killing Asian people. That's what he said in a roundabout way.
Yeah.
And so I said, you're never going to stop me from killing Asian people. Line them up against the wall. Bring me a Tommy gun. And that stream got pulled down for hate speech. Do you understand how retarded everyone is? Right. That stream got pulled down for hate speech. It was a joke. It was an ironic joke. You know, in other words,
it's very clearly an ironic joke. And some people were trying to say, "Oh, look at Ethan spreading Asian hate and he wants to kill Asian people. I'm like, guys, come
That's
on.
the opposite of what I was saying.
Yeah,
I was saying it's
you're
absurd to accuse us of something that incredibly
You're
evil.
pointing
like,
out how ridiculous the assertion was. But you can't do that, which we've discussed, is you can never lean into the accusation and go, oh yeah, you're right, I want to kill all these people. Because then you get clipped out of context.
And then they go,
impossible.
see, we told you.
See,
and it's the whole thing is absurd. But yeah, so that's why you find that stuff, is that within this group that we've made for ourselves, the you know, you're allowed. The political correctness doesn't exist, or it doesn't need to. You can go ahead and make a naughty joke if you want to, and we know you're kidding, and it's okay, and we chuckle, and it's safe, and it's warm, and it's fun. It's just a nice thing. This is what society should go back to being. People should recognize jokes. You should be allowed to make jokes.
I like jokes. Jokes are funny.
Jokes are funny.
Jokes.
They tried to cancel me over a joke because they said that I was racist towards Mexicans, despite being a Mexican myself.
I gotta look up all the jokes they tried to cancel me for. We're
I don't know
living
why
a silly
people wouldn't
time.
want that, though. I mean, the thing is, to me, like, that's so desirable to get back to a time before political correctness, where people were allowed to just have fun and feel like, and not feel so uptight about jokes. I think we should get back to that.
Comedies I'm scared for the future of comedy, because the people who are deciding what jokes we can tell don't understand jokes. It's like some weird guy in a boardroom. So many comedy podcasts over the last month or so have been demonetized or outright deleted. Dick Masterson's channel got deleted because these people don't understand context. It's crazy. I almost want them to hire like a professional comedian to go, okay, this is called satire. It means he doesn't mean what he's saying.
It's the opposite.
Right.
Yeah, hire one guy to explain to these pink-haired weirdos making these decisions.
Do they know, or is it like some kind of, like, I always kind of,
I don't know.
I think they know it's satire. They just know that if they pretend like it's not, they can get the person they don't like canceled. Are you working on anything currently, EVS?
Yeah, I'm working on Cyberfrog number 3. Cyberfrog number 2 is out now and shipping. You can go to Indiegogo to Cyberfrog Dark Harvest and pick up all of the new and upcoming books and product there. Go to look up Cyberfrog action figures on Indiegogo. We did make a beautiful line. Vito, if you want, send me your address. I'll send you a few of these.
All right, good. I do want them. I've been.
Will you show them on a stream and open them up?
Absolutely, yeah. I just did one of my mailbag streams. I've had a couple other comics guys, and they send me their stuff, and I show it off and whatever else.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's the thing. We're making toys around here. These cost. I've got a whole line of these. 4 different toys with, like, I think 2 variants per toy.
Yeah.
This was $1 million project that
God,
people could not do this. I could not do. Nobody could do this in the indie space were it not for crowdfunding. And crowdfunding is just me saying, I want to make action figures. Can I have some money? If you give me $40, I'll give you one of them when they're done. And then a lot of people go, we believe in you. We know you've done great product in the past. And they invest $40 or whatever in the project, and we raised almost $1 million. And I put a little bit of my own money in it to put it across the finish line. We made action figures that are every bit as good as McFarlane, Hasbro, and it's nobody's done this. There are companies.
It's impossible to do now. Yeah.
But we make it possible. So it is possible to do this through Comicsgate and through crowdfunding.
Well, you got to have good products. I mean, I read Cyberfrog Blood Honey. It is fantastic. I love it. I loved it so much. I actually did go and back the new campaign for the new book, Tony. and I bought the first issue that I missed. So
yeah, people are saying nice things about it. It's giving me a boost of self-confidence, because when Vito knows, man. I've seen Vito weeping over his comic, and everybody's laughing at him. I'm like, I know what he's going through. Like, seriously, like I completely understand. Like, when you're this close to a story and it's all you, and nobody's really ready. You're not getting feedback from an audience yet. You don't know if they're going to like it, and yet you're so inspired by.
You're terrified.
You're terrified. Like it's so gay, but like I go out in the sun, and I was just like. I'm working on Wreck Planet, and I'm sitting there like meditating in the sun, and I feel like God's presence. You know, it's like, this is like, don't make fun of me. And I go, and I'm like, what? Like, I'm being given like some sort of, I know what the whole entire book is about. You know, it's like how do you fight a culture war? Like, how does an individual fight the culture war when the culture is so huge? And it's like, well, it comes down to raising your child. I mean, that's ultimately what the theme of Cyberfrog Wrecked Planet is. Cyberfrog comes to the realization that it's like, how do I push back and save humanity from the Vespis? It's like, I've got this one little girl, Heather's daughter. Start there, and that's it. And I started to cry outside. You know, I'm in the sunshine and tears are streaming down my face, and my wife is looking at me like, "Did you get into the edibles again?" And I'm like, "This is what art actually is." But like, nobody understands it until you're into it, and you're like, you know, you're actually doing it for yourself, and then hoping that an audience connects with the material as well as you hope that they will. So I get it. When I saw you crying, I was like, "Oh, Vito, this is important to you. That's great." Yeah, I understand.
No, I mean, like, I have been getting the feels. I was listening to some music, and I was listening to one song, and for some reason, it just like perfectly. I was like, "Oh man, like this is the end of the book right here." It's like I was picturing the ending of like book one as the song was playing, and I'm like, I gotta turn this off because I'm gonna cry. This is like this emotional like moment where I'm like picturing the characters going on their journey, and I'm like, stop it. Go listen to something else.
Can I show my new trailer? It's only like a minute long. And
yeah, if you want.
All right, here you can just click present there.
About to go down. This is copyright-free music, right?
I think so. Yeah, it's Bach. I haven't been struck by it, so go ahead.
Damn. Ooh. So that's right around the corner.
Yeah, I'm scared to even launch it, like, you know, but I'm gonna do it. You know, what the hell?
Oh, dude, it's gonna be great.
Oh, thanks.
What was the? Let's see, because you always got like something going on. Your last campaign was like a reprint thing, or was it a Ashcan?
Yeah, like I'm doing a bunch of campaigns at once. Cyberfrog Dark Harvest is the current campaign, and it's like a miniature book that takes place in between Wreck Planet and then the Cyberfrog 3, which is called Red Extermination. And it's just like a miniature book that spins you off into a quick direction, gives you a bunch of information that you might need to know. And then boom, into Red Extermination is like the movie, you know, it's like Cyberfrog 3, the movie. And then all these other books are sort of like TV shows in betweeners, you know. That's how
I know Riley and Mint Salad are now buying everything from you. I don't know if you're familiar with Riley. He keeps tweeting at you. He's got your posters on his wall.
Yeah, I like that guy.
He's a long
Mint Salad. Mint Salad is a girl.
Mint Salad is the girl with Riley, and they make movie reviews every day. They're like long-time Dick Show, like, you know, callers in or whatever, who have their own little. They're two weird kids. They're nuts out of their mind.
I just keep seeing.
They're fantastic children.
Mint Salad keeps drawing ice on fan art, and we keep being like, you can't keep drawing this. We're gonna get in trouble. But,
Mint Salad does that work. Oh, okay. No, all I know is I got they spent about $500 on Cyberfrog stuff in the past 2 weeks. Like, they're just raiding our stores. They're backing all our campaigns.
Yeah.
So God bless Mint Salad.
Mint Salad has a kind of like an OnlyFans. I don't think it is OnlyFans, but it's
Fansly.
Like yeah. So she has a bunch. She has those kids are just like spending their OnlyFans money. It's a very weird situation. But then I don't know how they have any stamina. They put out like a movie review every day too. I don't know. We love those kids. They're fucking weirdos.
Yeah. They're fantastic. I love Mint Salad.
I'll tell you what you got to do, Ethan, is we need to buy you a front-facing light because I'm always driven nuts. But you got that shadow on your face.
Oh,
we got to get a light right here where your web camera is, and then
what it would take the light,
take
the
that shadow
from my
off
hat.
from your head so we can see your beautiful face. You're always
I don't
like
think
Batman.
anybody needs to see my face.
You're like Batman. If you're making videos, you should have a little ring light. I have a ring light back here. Hold on.
Do you really?
Yeah, I got a whole bunch of lights over here. I just bought this thing so I can have the camera up here as well as 2 lights.
Man, look at that setup. That's professional. I just have nothing. I just turn my camera off.
This is cool. It's like it actually connects to the back of the monitor, so I have this little shelf for all sorts of accessories and microphones and whatever else. So that thing's been great. Get a front light. Get a little ring light, Ethan.
Maybe I will, but I've gotten used to seeing what I like. First of all, like I like the way I look right now. When I look at my camera, I'm like, oh, I look handsome. Then I go, this weekend I went to my first comic convention in 6 years. And then you've got people objectively taking photographs of you from every angle. And you go, holy shit, I'm old and fat. Like I am like, I am a beast. It's like, no, I don't need to. This is fine.
Chat, what do you think? Does Ethan need more lighting? Let the chat tell you. I think as a guy who makes videos professionally on the internet, you got to have a front light.
No.
You're all backlit. Okay, fine. Batman.
All right, well, I appreciate it. Maybe I'll get one and I'll try it out.
Try it out. Try a little light back there. I have that big stand light. Other than that, I am excited for Cyberfrog 3.
Super Killer. Can we see some Super Killer stuff?
Oh, you want to see some art and stuff?
Yeah. Do you have anything that you can put up on the screen so people can take a look at it?
Can I present files, slides?
Yeah.
Wait, how do I do? What is slides? Is that a thing? I have no slides. Let me see what I got. You got any super chats there? Probably not any.
No. I run through a crowd that don't like e-beggars, so it's really hard to get these guys to give me money.
Yeah, Ethan doesn't know about the Amico, does he?
No, I don't think he does. I don't think he wants to go down that rabbit hole right now.
Well, if you ever want to watch some good videos, there was this video game console being made by a remarkable charlatan named Tommy Tallarico, one of the most gifted silver-tongued liars there is. And they managed to raise, what, $17 million, Tony?
$17 million.
So that's
and delivered nothing.
That's how me and Tony met each other, is because all the people in the retro video game community were like, hey, they raised $17 million. This thing looks terrible, and I don't think it's ever coming out. And it is never coming out. And, like, how many pre-orders did they have? Like, tens of thousands?
Wow.
They started off with, like, 10,000. They're down to, like, 6.
Let me see. Can I open this with, like...
So when are we going to get, like, a Cyberfrog animated movie or something, Ethan?
I don't know how to do that. I don't know how to do that, or video games. I had a few people approach me about doing kind of like side-scroller beat-em-up video games, and I'm all for it. I mean, if anybody wants to do it and tell me how, that'd be great. I'm hoping that eventually it just happens. Wow, look at that, dude.
So this is a little like flashback sequence where we kind of learn about the history. A lot of the comic is this girl character, Beck.
Oh, it's woke. Never mind.
Here we go, zoom in, and then we obviously have like some kind of a anime influence, but this is all about grew up enamored with superheroes and superhero culture, and her whole life wanted to be just like them, wanted to be a hero herself. And then kind of
bitten by a raccoon.
Yeah, there it's used to go out in the neighborhood, let the neighborhood animals bite her, trying to get radioactive powers. Yeah. There's actually, you can almost see like a nuclear plant back there. So
that's gonna play in.
Didn't work out for her so well. And then a lot of it is like her journey of like is just kind of feels like a loser. Like nothing ever really happened with her life. Dropped out of college. Let me see here. Share this to. But found out that superheroes are all perverts and weirdos here. Not her.
Jeez.
Well, her childhood favorite superhero was Night Manta, who was then caught and got canceled for having sex with fish. So kind of disillusioned her, and is now dealing with her final life. And that's when, of course, our character enters the diner, and they have their faithful meeting. which I for some reason don't have that page saved here.
The art looks great.
I'm excited about the art. I really like. Again, I really want to do like a funny book. I love comedy, so a lot of these opening pages are just her and her shitty douchebag boss is going off to the strip club, leaving her in charge of the diner, and then
just like I pictured he was gonna look, Vito.
Yeah, I'm excited. I'm actually showing. I'll show it all, whatever I have here, and then I guess here we haven't filled everything in.
So is Super Killer like a Vito stand-in? Is it going to be a
I don't think he's
insert?
No, I think he's a little more. I think he's even more of a dick than I am. He's but honestly, part of what's been maybe holding up part of the process is that I've been storyboarding the whole thing myself. So I actually have these storyboards.
What do you mean? But, don't use that word. That's not a comic book word.
Well, the better word would be
thumbnails. Are you drawing out the page and going on little stick figure panels? Are you doing that?
This is what I give him.
Thumbnails.
So I hand off these thumbnails, my basic idea of where it's going to go, and then he takes that and kind of really fleshes it out. So yeah, it's been a lot of figuring out, and then I have an editor helping me out with that, who's helping another guy who's worked in comics, so I guess I have to keep his name secret for some reason. But he's also been adding to it to give some extra stuff. I don't know exactly what I could say, but yeah, here he's been filling in some extra different ideas for angles and stuff like that. I'm trying to keep it very readable, though. Like, I think one problem with a lot of American comics is that, some people get really lost. Some of the panel layouts can be distracting if you're not a seasoned comic reader. So I'm kind of trying to make this something that I think dummies will be able to, not dummies, but just kind of keep it really simple. Keep everything to keep a lot of square panels, very easy layout. Again, I read a lot of manga, a lot of Japanese stuff, and it's just I find it a very readable. Yeah, I love this guy's art. He's really great. I wonder if I have any secret stuff hanging around.
Who knows? So with Super Killer being going into other universes and stuff, are we going to get a Cyber Frog little Easter egg or something? Vito?
Well, he would have to kill Cyber Frog. That's the problem.
Makes sense to me.
Honestly, though, I've thought about it. I'm like, you could do you could do little crossovers where he arrives in these universes. And, his job is to go after, somebody else's character. And then obviously he would hopefully fail at it. We don't want to kill anybody's character.
You would want him to succeed at it. I mean, people who are reading the book are on his side. But I mean, it would be, I think that would be
they'd have to come to a agreement. Yeah.
No,
I'm saying if we're using other people's characters, I don't want to kill other people's.
You call him Robo-Toad, and you just go in there and that's all.
Oh yeah, well that's the thing is I want to do a lot of fun parodies and stuff. I'm already thinking about one book. I just want him to shoot Ash Ketchum in the head. Be like, man, I'm just done with these Pokemon universes, dumb kids and the stupid monsters. And then he jumps through the portal and it's on to the actual adventure.
See, that's what the book should be, honestly.
Oh yeah, it's gonna be a bunch of just funny little stuff like that. But then also, I think there's a deeper heart to it too, where it's there's going to be times where he's like, man, what we're doing is fucked. We're not good people. We are literally world enders. So, and then trying to figure out hey, who's in charge of this? Is there a way to, maybe put an end to what we're doing or get out of this game? They're going to meet other agents who are way too into it. They're like, oh, I just love killing superheroes. One of the things is, you kill 100 heroes and you get to quit your job. You don't have to keep, killing superheroes. And then they're going to meet guys who are like, oh, I've already killed 100 heroes a while ago. I just keep re-upping my contract. And they're like, wait, you like this job? And they're like, oh, I love murdering. It's my favorite thing. And they're like, oh, and he ends up on missions. One thing I have not revealed, he does not like being called Super Killer. That is a nickname that was given to him by other agents. He doesn't even know what the thing on his chest stands for. It's just a costume he woke up in one day. So he's on a mission and they're like, hey, it's the Super Killer. And he's like, oh God, don't fucking call me that. And they're like, hey, Super Killer, what are you doing? He's like, that's that guy. He's an asshole. All right, I guess this is a team up mission. So we got to work with that guy. So there's going to be team ups and weird stuff where you meet other agents. And I don't know. I'm seeing how much I can do. You know, part of the problem doing these comics is I can't do too many. I can't plan for 100 issues because it's just unfeasible, right? So
Right.
I have to figure out how to condense that plot down into something where I can deliver as much as possible, you know, in a limited number of books. Because, you know, unless it takes off and I can convince an artist to push a book out, I don't know. That's the speed is the problem, right, Ethan? That seems to be the biggest hang up right now.
Well, yeah. I think theoretically, you know, we could get out a 20-page monthly, but the problem is the you know, getting people to fund it. The funding takes time.
Yeah.
That's 2 months right there at least to get funding, and then fulfillment. And imagine trying to fulfill imagine if you had 8,000 books that you needed to ship every single month.
Oh yeah, it'd be a logistical headache.
Yeah.
I mean, hopefully at that point you could team up with some sort of distributor, but then are they going to take the lion's share of?
They'll take 2/3 of your money. So
Jesus, yeah, you can't deal with that.
This is why, like, we boiled it down to this formula.
We all need a warehouse.
Well, you don't need a warehouse. Garage. You honestly
you need a bigger garage.
I need a warehouse because I've got these guys, you know. So that's
is your warehouse on premises? Like, is that near or is that somewhere else?
10 minutes away. It's in my neighborhood.
I was gonna say it seemed like it was like a local thing, which is nice.
Yeah, when big shipments come in, they want to know they need a warehouse with a loading dock, so that they can just, you know, offload whatever's in there. Usually it's a big shipping container, so you got to have a warehouse when you're working at my scale. I don't know. I know Eric July's got warehouse. He loved my warehouses, Vito. He saw my warehouse videos.
Did he come to tour them, or he just saw pictures of them?
He saw videos. He said, "Tell me about these warehouses." He was.
Maybe you were right, Vito. Maybe he is artistic about warehouses.
Look, everybody wants a warehouse. I want a warehouse. I get it. Like, I get it. You know.
Well, you don't get one unless you need one. I mean,
I'm not gonna get one right away. No, like somewhere down the line, maybe.
We got our first PVC toys in. We had a little warehouse with a business office attached to it. We still have it, and it's expensive. I mean, these things are expensive. They're rent. I don't buy them. I don't own them. I'm just
I was gonna say. So you're renting this monthly?
I want to get out of them as soon as possible. Yeah, you know, I have on a term, and once I can, like I want to get rid of the smaller one and then move everything into the big one and stop paying rent on the smaller one. It's too expensive and it's unreasonable. I don't want to look cool. I just have to have a place to put all these toys as I'm shipping them and selling them.
Yeah, people don't realize, like, as sexy as it sounds to have a warehouse, like, man, it just adds up. I mean, I was talking to Tony earlier about, you know, I had a company that were paying all this money for office space, and it's part of what bankrupted us, is that it's just it's money you're throwing down. Yeah, it kills you. You
got to just keep doing stuff. Like, my thing is to keep coming up with ideas for new things. I've got to do about 5 campaigns a year, you know, just to kind of keep product in the market. Because really what it's about is, you know, we make the toys, we have the toys, we fulfill the toys to backers who ordered them, and then the toys are in the warehouse. The toys are always for sale, and that's, you know, it's product, keeping product for sale. Talking about the product, meeting.
But you got to keep product moving, or else it's just sitting there, right?
Or else it's stale too. I mean, it's like, we got action figures now. Everybody wants Christmas is coming up. These are going to go great around Christmas time. We'll have a nice deal. That's the whole thing. You got to keep making product and selling product, and you got to keep doing new product. And it is an endless, and it has to be good. If it's not good, if it's getting savaged all across the internet, then eventually you're going to run into some trouble. So that's
why you're sitting on dead stock, and what do you do with it?
Yeah, it pays to really invest your time and energy into making quality goods. And, you know, like I said, people have reviewed Rack Planet and said it's great, and I'm really appreciative of that. There's still room to grow. Issue 3 is going to be better. The toys, people can't believe. I saw a little boy with autism open one of these up, and he's just like playing with the feet. He's just like.
Well, I think you got a character that kids will go nuts for, is the thing. If you can get them to, I don't know if they should read the comic considering how bloody it is. But.
Yeah, a mother came.
It's not that bad.
No, yeah, I just did this convention, which was the first convention I've done in a while, because people have been threatening to kill me, so I've been staying home,
staying away
conventions. But I did go to this one, and what ended up happening was a lot of children came up to my booth. A lot more kids than I thought. I thought I'd be talking to us, middle-aged guys.
Yeah.
But they 8 to 12-year-olds would walk by with their mommies and be like, Cyberfrog, what? Cyber Frog, and they would pick up the toys and they'd go, they'd buy they'd ask their mom, and their mother would come over and go, "Is this okay for kids?" And I said, "Well, there's no language, there's no nudity, there is violence and gore on a level with Indiana Jones. So if you let your kids see Raiders of the Lost Ark with the melting Nazis at the end and the guy getting crushed by the tank treads and all that stuff, if that would be okay with you, and it was okay with my parents, I saw it didn't do me no harm, then Cyber Frog was going to be okay as well." And I think that's absolutely true.
Yeah, I think at this point, every 12-year-old kid is playing Grand Theft Auto. Yeah, and they've massacred enough piles of people to make it okay.
Yeah, gore is just violent. Gore, not a big deal, but you want to check with the mom and just be like, "Hey, is that okay with you?" Anyway, it sold a ton of toys and a ton of books to these kids, and all of them were just enamored with this character, and I thought they would be. I really did. I was pretty sure that this
is why it's like a Ninja Turtle. Kids love it.
That's why you got to do the plush toy, Ethan. Kids love plush toys.
We will do a plush toy soon.
Dude, plushes are great. I have a bunch of plush somewhere. There's this app you can play on your phone where you play crane games through a web camera in Japan, and if you win, they ship the prize to your house. I got so addicted to that app that I have all this Japanese trash. Just like I have all these like Pokemon stuffed animals that are just in the garage because I'm like, I don't even want these.
That's just like fun.
Yeah, it's too fun. You get to play crane games are awesome, But then I kept winning all this crap I don't need, and probably spent way too much money. I had to eventually quit that.
I see people making like little plushies, these kind of shitty little plushies.
Yeah,
I want to. If I were gonna make one, I'd want to make it like a glowworm. Like it would have to have plastic parts to it, and it would need to light up. Like I would want Cyber Frog's eyes. If you squeeze him, his eyes light up.
That would be cool.
His belt is made of plastic, and maybe his shoulders are made of plastic. But his body is soft. Yeah, I'd probably want to do a product like that, and it would have to just be excellent, like something you would be able to buy in Toys R Us.
I would love to figure out the whole toy game. I'll even they have those channels. Have you seen these like Pirate X toys or whatever? It's like you get a pirate ship, but then the pirate ship at the bottom, you get a little sword. You can cut into the belly of the whale, and like treasure comes out, and then inside the treasure is another. And I'm like, oh my god, toys are incredible now. I'm like, I didn't have anything like this as a kid.
I just had a big hunk of metal. Transformer, that's it.
Or their toys are being made for adults now, and that's
Well, that's kind of the problem, is that like action figures aren't even really for kids anymore. It's like action figures are more an adult market now.
They're for 40-year-olds to collect and put on the shelf.
Yeah, like we like little models. Kids are just like, for us as kids, like the reason to get an action figure was so that it was an accessory so that we could be the action figure. Like, oh, cool. Like I'm Luke Skywalker now. I can be Luke Skywalker. Video games do that.
Yeah.
So, and they do it much better. So the kids are getting what we got out of action figures in video games.
Hold on, I got to show you this real quick.
While Vito's doing that, while we got you here, EVS, you said that it's unreasonable for you to ship books monthly, because of all that. So do you have a end for Cyber Frog in mind? Like issue 10, issue 12.
No, it'll go on forever as long as I can. But I mean, the first I'm breaking it down into story arcs. The Cyber Frog movie is Cyber Frog 1 through 4. Blood Honey, Wreck Planet, Red Extermination, and Green Supremacy. That'll be one movie. Wow, look at that.
Okay, so you take the little guy out of the teeth. Okay, so you get a little guy, and then it comes with a little... Look, it's got a little saw. So then you cut into the shark. This is the coolest thing ever. If I was a kid, I would make my parents buy me one of these every day. You actually gut the shark to get like more accessories for the little demon man. It's taking forever for some reason. I think they're really selling it for the camera. And you pull its guts out, and there's a little bag of guts. Then now you cut into the bag of guts, and there's goo in there. It's just layers upon layers. And what is that? Like his belt? Comes with a magic whistle.
Oh, but you can only do it once.
You can only do it once, but then you get the harness for the shark was inside the... Why did the harness for the shark exist inside the shark's guts? Either way, I am endlessly fascinated with toys now.
That is weird.
And then what? You pour water into? Is this? Oh, you got it. Now you got to open up the treasure chest with the water, and let the treasure slowly come out. Yeah, and then each of them comes with a different treasure, and you know what treasure you're gonna get here. You got a little stupid crab.
A little stupid crab.
I don't know, man. Some Chinese guy put a lot of thought into this. Is what I'm saying.
How did you wander into that, Vito?
I don't know, because these guys get 10 million views on every one of these videos. It's like, why do I waste any time talking about movies or comic books when I could just go, hey, kids, I bought a toy off the shelf. Let's watch me open it like a moron. This is what I should be doing. This is free money.
Free money?
That guy, Ryan's World, it's just his kid, and his kid jumps in a ball pit, and they have $1 billion.
Yeah, but he's a kid. That's why other kids relate to him playing with the toys, Vito. You're no longer a child. You're
I got offered a job by one of these channels. It's one of these like kid channels, and they're like, we need a producer. I'm like, well, what do I have to do? And they're like, well, like maybe on Monday I'll say, you know, we want to fill the pool with slime. So your job would be to figure out how to do that and get it ready for a shoot on Friday. And we'll pay you $150,000 a year. And I was like, I am too lazy to figure out how to fill a pool with slime every week. I'm like, it's just not. I'm like, I can edit. I can like write. I don't want to be running around town renting warehouses and finding goo and whatever the hell else, setting up weirdo. Oh, what if we make a fun maze and then you got to build a maze? I'm like, I'm not building mazes or any of this shit. No. Would have been good money. It would have been good money. I tried to get my sister to take the job because that's way up her alley. She like produced music videos and stuff. I was like, Marissa, do you want to move to Ohio and live with this weird family and help them build mazes out of slime and whatever?
Well, you're really selling it, weird family.
Well, she almost got the job, but then luckily she just went to her existing job and they're like, we'll just pay you more money to make music videos. Please don't move to the middle of nowhere. And I'm like, well, at least I got her a raise. Yeah. So it ended up working out pretty well.
On the John says, thanks to Vito and Riley, I just bought the complete 90s Cyberfrog warts and all.
Look at that. We're selling Cyberfrog like crazy.
That's great. Thank you.
Yeah. No, people, what I've been reading, I still haven't finished the one you sent me. I've been going through it real meticulous, probably too meticulous. I don't know how to give notes. But yeah, it's just good, man. It's solid.
Where do you get to the end?
Oh God. I'm at the point where what's her name? Heather is going into the city, and I'm like, it's not going to end good. I know it's not going to end good. Cyberfrog's like, should I go with you? And she's like, nah, it'll be fine. I'm like, oh, last words.
I don't know if you should say all that, Vito.
It's only halfway through. Maybe
dude. I literally said like nothing when I reviewed Blood Honey.
You got people mad at you for getting to read it before them. I
was trying to be like as nice as I could, like to like not have any spoilers. I was like really vague in what I was saying, and they're like, "You spoiled the whole book for me, you fucking asshole! I'm never gonna buy it." I'm like,
it's like, I got people mad because I let Dick Masterson read it. I'm like, you don't understand. I didn't do that for him. He didn't want to read it. You know, he did it for me. You know, it's like I got.
The one I'm reading now is already out, right?
It's out, but it's in the process of fulfillment. I'm shipping 16,000 copies of these, and I'm about 8,000.
So not everyone's gotten them yet.
Not everybody has it yet. Yeah.
Interesting.
The one I had wasn't out, and they were very, very upset.
So I have Cyberfrog. I'm reading Cyberfrog 2 out of the current arc. Well, send me one.
Okay. Yeah. Give me your address. I'll actually send you the hard copies.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, it's the first one. People said the first one is a little heavy on exposition, but the
character's been missing for 20 years. I feel like you kind of got it, right?
I have it opens up
a few
with
blanks to fill in.
Yeah, Chelsea just saying like, this is all the stuff that you missed, and this is why I'm in trouble right now at this moment, and all that stuff. And then it goes into the current day. But people thought it was badly structured. It was the first thing I ever wrote. So, check it out with that. To me, it's all about the learning curve. And again, it's all, I think once you read those two books together in one sitting, I think it's going to read a lot better than it did by itself.
Yeah.
But I'll send it to you.
I won't bring up anyone in particular, but I say, like you said, I think even if somebody hates me, I want their criticism. I really do. Because a lot of people have been like, oh, your book's going to be crap. It's like this. It's like this. And I'm like, well, I tell you what, when it's done, send me a message. I'll send you a PDF. Because I don't know, man. I have deep faith in what I'm doing, and you have to. And you should have the kind of faith where if a critic reads it, you got to go, well, if they're being honest, I'll you want to be in a situation where you go, if they're being honest, they'll probably, you know, nitpick it or whatever else. But at the end of the day, I mean, a lot of people have tried to come at the Super Killer campaign and they read the page and they go, well, I hate Vito, but his comic does sound pretty good. And if anything, that's better than, you know,
it's entertaining, and they're judging it. They have to. They're forced to judge the thing on its merits, you know.
I would rather have a critic tell me my thing's mediocre than have a, you know, a lover tell me that, you know, oh, you did the best job ever. It's like, no, I want my haters to tell me I did the best job ever.
Oh yeah. Like that's the best thing ever is when people go, you know what, the book's actually pretty good. I mean, fuck Ethan Van Sciver, but it's, you know, I love that. Love that.
Fuck that Nazi, but hey, he can put out a good book.
It's a shame about his views because his book is good. That's perfect. I love that situation. Yeah. But I mean, you know it in your heart. I mean, the thing about it is that good criticism hurts, and you'll react to it if you're not prepared to it. Like you know,
because you should know what the flaws of your. A lot of the time, you've identified the flaws.
Well, and sometimes you haven't. And then, like Literature Devil wrote a better ending for Cyberfrog 2. And I went, motherfucker, you know, and and I went, okay, I got to go nurse a wound for a little while and then come back to it and watch this video again and just take what I can from this. So that's I knew that was good criticism. I knew Dick's criticism was good criticism. You know, it's like even Vickyverse, who's a harridan on the internet who I can't stand, had a couple of good little things. Like, you should have changed the dialogue here and there. And I did actually change the dialogue when she read an earlier draft. Yeah. Based on the fact that I thought she was right. It doesn't matter. I don't like her. She doesn't like me. But
at least you know she's being. At least you know the criticism is not, you know, being light for your behalf. It's not trying to massage your ego.
Yeah, because the reason why is because she doesn't like me, and you know, she's trying to seem smarter than me and make me look like an idiot. So the criticism is going to be harder and more pointed. And if it's wrong, if she's wrong and her criticism's stupid, she's going to look stupid. So therefore, she has an investment. She is, you know, she needs to make good criticism in order to look smart. And that's why people who dislike you are people who can be counted on to criticize your book a lot better. Unless they're just retard. There's some people who are just like, but you know that you dismiss that. It doesn't hurt when retards.
Well, they don't get everything right. Like,
it doesn't mean anything.
Yeah, Dick gave me some criticism, and then I discussed it with him, and he was like, you know, some of it I was like, well, I don't agree with this, but then there was one part where I'm like, you know what, I do definitely agree with that. So, you know, you can also sift through the criticism, and it's not always, you're not going to agree with everything, but there is some stuff where you go, yeah, you know what, I think it would actually be stronger to do that. I mean, I've sent the script to a bunch of different people just trying to get anyone who gives notes. God bless your heart. I mean, Tony, you read it. I don't know if you gave me any notes or anything. But
we discussed it a little.
Yeah, a little bit, but mostly you thought it's solid. Yeah. Honestly, I keep reaching out to buddies and like my comedian friends because I'm like, hey, just help me make it funnier. Like, help me write better jokes for it. But all comedians are lazy sacks of crap.
Yeah, it's hard to get anybody. See, that's the thing. It's hard to get anyone to read your work. That's why it's important. It's you know, you don't take that for granted. You know.
Well, I'm hoping that, you know, as we move forward in indie comics, it seems like we're entering some sort of period. I'm hoping that we're going to have, you know, writers groups come together where everybody reads everybody's script, and you know, they're just the spirit of collaboration can only make things better.
Accuse each other of stealing ideas, have big fights on the internet.
Well, hopefully we'll get over that part.
But I'm telling everybody, like, I want to know what your thoughts were about Wreck Planet. Don't just tell me you got it. Here's an unboxing. Look, it's here. It's shiny. No, read the book. Don't make a video until you've read the book and you have. If you don't like it, say so and tell me why. If you do like it, say so and tell me why. And I just want to hear your thoughts. And then seasoned critics tee off on it. You know, I mean, I really.
Well, Mike Miller thinks the art is shit. What about that?
Mike is.
You guys fighting last
Mike
night.
is a fucking. He's something else, man. But I mean, that's just because I went through his book. He's doing that because I went through his book and I pointed out the obvious gay subtext in every single page on the panel. I did a whole video about that, and I did it to him live on the air. So he's nursing a grudge.
Mike's an interesting guy. You guys are all interested in, and then there's all this drama. I hope everybody at the end of the day gets along, gets things done. Even me, I have no feud with anybody. It's all been for shits and giggles. Dick maybe got me embroiled in it longer than I thought I would. But hey, we also do it. Part of the problem, though, I think, as we find, is people like the drama, people like the spectacle. It's part of some people
the
can't.
Charm.
Some people, though, I think don't understand the nature. I was watching a clip today, and it was Howard Stern and Stuttering John from like back in like the 90s or something. And Howard's yelling at Stuttering John. He's like, you know what, you're fired. Get out of here, whatever. And me, I go, oh, Howard's like, you know, he's doing a bit. Obviously, Stuttering John is not fired. Like, he needs Stuttering John. Stuttering John's like, fine. And he like starts gathering up his stuff. And I'm like, Stuttering John doesn't get the joke. He doesn't get the circus, the kayfabe, the drama, the fun of it. So some people, I think, yeah, they don't understand that a lot of it is performative. A lot of it is having fun. Nobody wishes harm on anybody else. Everybody should be selling their books and making money.
Hell yeah.
You hear that, Smiller? You hear what he's saying?
Yeah, well, Miller should have fun with it too.
He didn't like it because I would show him objects that look like penises, and his face would turn red. Yeah, like I'd just be like, hey Mike. I go, and people would know because I go, hey Mike, look at this. And I'd be like, I'm putting in a pool by my house, a swimming pool. I want you to take a look at a few designs. And I'd put up about 17 different designs that were clearly swimming pools that were shaped like dicks.
Right.
And make him watch them all. And he'd be like, my kids are home. My kids are in the house. I'm like, they're just swimming pools, Mike. What's the problem? So he didn't like any of that. And the fans loved it. People watching loved Hey Mike.
They loved the fight. Like, that's why even people like Vicky have value, and Liam is mad at me because I'm friends with John Delarose and whatever else.
I love Liam Gray.
I didn't realize he hated me through, like, I've been seeing like comments on videos where he goes, well, actually Vito's blah 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 blah. And I'm like, wait, I know that's that Liam guy. And they're like, so all of that drama, I don't know, man. People got
Liam has been taken over by people who literally do mean him harm and like are making fun of him and want him to fail for laughs. Like, he listens to them, and they tell him not to listen to me because that's me doing that to him. And I'm like, Liam, just come on back here, stop it, knock it off, sell your book.
Yeah.
I'm not going to listen to you, Ethan. I'm not stupid, okay? Fucking hell, man. Retarded. Absolutely retarded.
You got to roll with the punches in
Some
people
don't know how to do it.
Some people really don't.
Funny. Yeah.
I always bring up, who always rolled with the punches great was, what's his name? Liefeld. Who for 10 years, it was great fun to beat up on Liefeld and say he can't draw feet and all of the proportions are wrong. At the end of the day, he was like, hey, man, if I'm remembered as the guy who made Deadpool and couldn't draw feet, that's pretty good with me. And I'm like, that's a perfect answer. It's like, well, just let it roll off your back. Who cares if you're remembered as the greatest artist of all time or that guy who always drew a rock in front of everybody's feet because you don't want to draw him. Like, at the end of the day, you made Deadpool and they didn't. So what do you care?
Yeah.
That's correct. Yeah.
And then I point as Will Wheaton as a guy who could not roll with the punches. And it's like, stop telling me to shut up. I'm
fuck
Will
that
Wheaton.
guy.
Stop telling
I'm
me
Will
shut up,
Wheaton.
Wesley.
Yeah, I know. That's the whole point. Shut up.
Yeah, you're Wesley. You're a dork, and we're gonna make fun of you. You go, yeah, if he had said, yeah, shut up, Wesley, we'd be like, he's rolling with the punches. He's a fun guy. But he's like, no, this is serious. Shut up. Stop telling me to shut up. And he kind of destroyed his own credibility.
Yeah.
So annoying.
Yeah. Well, I'm excited for Super Killer. I should get back to work on it, actually.
You should.
But for those of you who want to check it out, it is available now on Indiegogo. We are currently at 1,030 backers. I think we're doing very good. Ethan has predicted that we may hit 100K at some point. Probably not by the end of the campaign, but I think if we keep it going, people keep finding out about it, I think we're going to keep doing pretty good. I'm excited.
Where are you at right now?
1,032.
We're at 58K, and that's before shipping though. So I haven't. If you added in shipping costs at like a minimum of $10 each, we're technically at like 68. But I didn't put shipping in. I'm charging shipping after the fact.
I think you could hit 100K. Got to push, Peter. Got to push.
I don't need to hit 100K to be happy, but honestly, just hitting 1,000 people reading it, that's the most important part.
We got to read this thing?
I would like to have Vito on the show, on my show. I definitely help him promote it, but everybody in my chat hates him, and Eric July and his group is furious with him. And
maybe we can phrase it as like a common sense discussion of where comics are going, and it doesn't have to be a.
I don't know, man.
The future of comic. Well, let's be real.
Come roast Vito. Just have a live roast of Vito.
It could be a live roast of Vito. You do not owe me at your audience, Ethan. I appreciate your support regardless.
I support you mentally. I support anybody who's making an independent comic book right now and who is who isn't going woke and kneeling before the woke in order to do that.
Here's what's going to happen, Ethan, is I'm going to win them over with the book. They're going to read the book and they're going to go, well, I can't deny the man has a good comic. And then
they got to read it first. And a lot of people,
they read it and they love it, they're going to love me.
They got to pick up the book, and so therefore, you have to rehabilitate your own image in their eyes because they're the customers. Yeah. I don't care what my peers think about me. I care what my customers think about me, though. So
great attitude. Great attitude.
Well, I'm gonna make it. They're gonna be able to have access to it. Let's put it that way. And they're gonna read it, and they're gonna like it. And if they don't like it, they're dumb, and that's fine. No, maybe
Tony,
it'll suck.
I appreciate you having me on, and I like chatting with Vito. So
no problem. I appreciate you popping in, EVS, and once again, thank you for giving me that preview.
Streaming, maybe what are you doing? I think Saturday I'm going to be doing a big stream. If you want to pop by, Ethan, say hi. I think Saturday's the last day for Super Killer. I think we'll see. I'm
going to go see Frankie Valli on Saturday.
Oh, really?
I've seen him like 20 times, but my wife's like, when are you going to stop going to see Frankie Valli? I'm like, it's going to happen soon. You understand? The guy's like 88 years old.
Does he have like a residency at one of those like casinos in
He's in Atlantic City 8 times a year, and I'm there at every show. I love Frankie Valli, even though, I have his show memorized. So I go see Frankie Valli, and I go play blackjack. It's what I do.
That's pretty great.
I'll be there on Saturday, but maybe I'll be able to pop in. So always send the link.
We'll see what happens. What was I going to say? What is exciting, though, is that I think we saw the reaction. People like Dick reviewing media. So on Thursday, I am forcing Dick to go see the new Indiana Jones movie with me.
Uh-oh.
And then afterwards, we're going to go to his studio and record a little review of that. So this may be a new chapter of me and Dick doing movie reviews together. We'll see.
Dick reviews.
I think people will like that format. I think people will want to hear Dick's opinion on some of this stuff. He's got good ideas about media and writing and everything else.
He's a smart guy.
Yeah, and he hates women, so he's gonna hate this dang Indiana Jones. It's got a lady in the front of it. Oh my god! I can't only imagine what misogynist nonsense is gonna come out of his mouth. Anyway,
the show should be called Dick Movie, bro, or something like that. Somebody told me Dick Move, bro, today, and I said Dick Move. I haven't heard that in a while, so Dick Movie, bro.
All right. Thank you, Vito, for being here.
Movies. Thank you for having me. Ethan, good seeing you. Tony, thanks for...
All right. Well, that's everybody. Thank you guys for popping in. Love, peace, booty grease. I'm out of here.